You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
Welcome to the show. It's the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, Season 4, Episode 11. My name is Joe Rad. Joining us all the way from Australia, as always, is our illustrious co-host, Figsy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Also joining us this evening, our special co-host, Mr. Radical Reggie. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Oh, the intro always throws me off.
Bro, I gotta do it, man. And then our special guest this evening, for a second appearance on the show, welcome back, Mr. RNG Gamer. What's going on, buddy?
Hello. Thank you for having me on the
Good,
show, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. It's going to be an exciting episode. Got a lot to talk about. But we're just going to get it out of the way just because it's like, it's kind of almost obligatory at this point. Well, let's just start off with what I want to first talk about. So, RNG Gamer. Why are you called RNG Gamer?
I play all my games randomly.
Okay, so you said this on the last podcast,
Yeah.
and I just breezed on past it and never ever asked for any explanation of what
Yeah,
that means.
nobody ever does. They're like, that sounds fine.
Oh, cool. But I mean, so I've been thinking, what does that actually mean? Do you have like a Zoltan machine where you put a thing and a ticket pops out and it tells
I
you?
do have a digital roulette wheel that I use. But
Okay,
that's just for visuals. There's a whole algorithm behind it that has been developed over years. Many years ago, when I started collecting, almost 20 years ago, I would just play games as I bought them. But, you can't keep up with how fast you're buying them, especially not back then when you'd buy a truckload of stuff for $200. So I would just pile them in the corner. And it became so overwhelming to me to try to pick a game. I would just play the same old crap. I just jump on Call of Duty and play it. So I developed this system, and I have done this for over a decade, long before I even thought about doing YouTube, where I just pick all my games randomly. And what I do is I add them to a spreadsheet chronologically as I pick them up. And when I finish one in a category, so they're split into retro and modern games, I use a random number generator, which is what RNG stands for, random number generator, to select the game. And now there's some little weird rules in it. So as I finish a game, the spot where it was on the spreadsheet, I leave it blank. And when I run the roulette wheel, if it lands on a blank spot, I play the top game on the list, the one that's been on there the longest. So as I finish games, the chances of the oldest game on the list getting picked goes up. So that's how it works for me. Now, I also live stream, and when I initially started live streaming, it was just going to be for fun, but then people started tipping. Even though I was like, don't tip, they just tip. People just tip.
Yeah.
I want them to get something for their money. So I added this gold star system. So I let them pick a game, and as they tip towards it, when they hit a certain amount, we stream that game. That's cool. So that's how some of the random games get picked, but I have no input on that. They pick it off my backlog.
Okay.
And do you pull games and you ever get that moment where it's like, oh no, I have to play this, or you get really excited because you're playing a certain game?
Yeah, I sometimes dread it, and then sometimes it, I was dreading Silver Surfer. I was literally really dreading it, but people really stepped up and tipped a lot to make me play that. At the same time, they made me play Lies of P. So for 3 months, I have streamed Lives of P and Silver Surfer, and it was ultra stressful. It was ultra stressful, but I got through it. So yeah, sometimes the random gaming thing can really be frustrating. Like, if a new game comes out you want to play, like, I really want to play the new Astrobot, but I just can't. It's not fair that I like break the rule because I want to do something. I have to stick to it now. I'm held accountable by the viewers. So, but I will say this. The randomly selecting the games is almost as fun as playing the games. There's so much like just enjoyment when something cool gets picked. And I love that. And I don't buy just a bunch of random crap. I'm adding stuff I want to play. So it's like everything's good, you know, or at least interesting.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, what if somebody, like, they all get together and they tip and they all, like, make you play BB and Tina?
I have to have it. I have to have the game. I don't have it, right? So they can't just
So don't buy it if you don't want to play it. Yeah,
I have to pick something off my wish list.
Oh, I see.
One of my buddies
I
Psych plays PS2. He's doing a similar thing. He's going for a full PS2 set and he's playing every single game. And with his viewers on YouTube, does the random wheel every week, and that's the game he's going to play. And he's playing every single game, so it doesn't matter what shows up, he's got to play it.
Yeah, there's like 47 Sing Stars on PS2.
I think there's more actually.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what got you into gaming? Like, because you started playing games when you were a kid, right?
Oh yeah, when I was like 5 years old, for Christmas I got an NES. Before that, I actually got an Action Max, and it didn't really work. So my parents returned it, and for Christmas I got an NES. It was the first time I ever stayed up all night. I played Mario and Duck Hunt, and I have never stopped. I've just continued playing since then. It's changed. I've been a PC gamer for a while. I've been a console gamer for a while, but I've never stopped.
Wow, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I appreciated on your channel is that I watched like one of your collection videos, and you were like, you know, I know no one cares about this stuff, but I still collect in television, and I still like Atari, and I like this older stuff. And I'm like, that resonates with me big time, because I do still like that older stuff, and I appreciate that you appreciate that, and that like you can still, I don't know, people who are like real gamers, man, like, you just want to like stuff. I don't know how
you want to like stuff.
You want to like
my daughter.
stuff.
She's like picky. Like, it's cool at her school for food to be picky. Like, they all have what I like to call chicken finger mouth, which is like the inability to appreciate sophisticated food. They just want to eat chicken fingers, and they think that's like cool because it makes them special. But I'm like, think of how exciting your life would be if everything you ate was like the best thing you ever ate.
Oh wow!
Right?
Yeah.
If every game was freaking awesome. That's just a happier life. That's just more fun. A moment enjoyed is never a moment wasted. So like, I never played an Atari till after the Sega Genesis came out, and I was at a flea market out in the middle of God knows where, and a dude had like an Atari sitting under a table with a bunch of games. I had like $20 in my pocket, and I was like, I'll try this. I had as much fun playing that crap as I was having playing my Sega Genesis. So I was like, games are just good. They're just good of all kinds. That's why I never got into like the console fanboyism stuff. I'm just like, games are fun. Play games on anything, whatever you've got. Have a good time with it. Try to make it fun. If it sucks, revel in the suckiness and laugh at yourself in the experience, right? A person who entertains themselves will never be bored.
RJ, you saying you just finished playing through Lies of P. How did you find that? I recently just played it and I loved it.
I really liked Lives of P. The way I played it on stream is the worst way anyone could ever play that, which is like an hour and a half every week over 3 months. So every time I streamed, I was rusty and couldn't remember the controls. Also, the chat trolled me. I didn't have a chance to try different builds. I didn't look up any information online. I just trusted chat to tell me like, yeah, this weapon's really good. You should level up this skill. They were ruthless. And so I didn't get to experiment very much. I had like the worst build going into it. But what weirded me out about Lies of P over the Dark Souls games is you have attack buffering. So in Dark Souls, if you like tap R1 to swing, you can hit like R1, 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 and you can cancel out of an attack by rolling. And Lies of P, if you hit R1, 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 it queues up those animations and it will just play them out come hell or high water. You can't cancel out of it. So you have to be very tactical when you play. and that's not who I am. When I play Souls, I like turtle up with like the biggest armor, the heaviest weapon, and I'm just like, we're just gonna tank this freaking guy. Lies of P is like Bloodborne, and Sekiro
that's
mixed
how I
together.
found it. It was like Bloodborne, and then it had the like you got to break the stature of the enemy type feature.
Yeah, right.
Sekiro has it.
You have to get through their
The
poise.
stagger.
Yeah, you got to stagger them. And I was good at parrying. I could do that, but like I would just run in there and just hit like R1, R1, R1. I was just literally going like every attack was like this because I'm so used in Souls to after the animation ends, you want to have that animation ready. So you're tapping it, hoping to hit it as soon as possible. And Lies of P is just like stacking the attacks on top of each other. So I never quite got over that, but I definitely did beat it. I will say that I thought the boss design in Lies of P was fantastic. The level design wasn't that great, and I only died like 2 times in the entire game getting to a boss. Like I just cut through the whole game, no problem. I'd be like, that bridge is going to collapse when I walk across it. And of course it did. There's going to be a dude around that corner. And of course there was. And there's going to be a giant boulder rolling down this hill. And I felt like I knew the game. But the bosses, there was no way to know that before getting there. They were as challenging as ever, as any Souls game, really.
I guess I found it similar. Like I didn't find it hard until I got to New Game Plus, and then some of the levels got a little bit harder. But I definitely enjoyed it though. Like I loved through that the whole game. And what I did that surprised me really enjoy was the story. Like it brought the Pinocchio story to light. And I was not expecting that. Like holy shit.
I also was not. Now I don't know the Pinocchio story except for the Disney rendition of it, which, as I understand, is nothing. The novel is nothing like the damn the Disney movie.
Yeah, it's
So
dark.
I was like,
the cute kitty
this
cat
is dark. This is dark. Yeah, but I went into it. I was like, I'm just going to lie my ass off all the way through the entire thing. And whatever happens is going to happen. And we're just going to roll with it. And I wouldn't change a thing about it.
And that's how you get the good ending, ironically.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know too, it finally had a price drop. I don't know if you saw that. The game is actually on sale for $40 right now. It's been $60 the entire time it's been released. I've been waiting for a price drop, and right now it's $39.99.
That's awesome.
It's also free on Game Pass. So if you just want to play it, Game Pass is the go.
Yeah, not this audience. I want the PS4 copy and the PS5 copy.
Man.
I'm finally at the point now too where I'm really debating whether or not I should get the PS5 or the PS4 copy. So for a long time, it's like a no-brainer. I almost always go for the PS4 copy for games. But like for that one, I'm like, I don't know if it comes with a free upgrade. If it doesn't, I don't know. If it comes with a free upgrade, sure. But if it doesn't, I think I might actually get the PS4.
Well, they're starting to cut the free upgrade out because
I've noticed that.
People are going for the PS4 version, and it used to be $10 cheaper. And it's pretty crazy. Now what they're doing to kind of like remedy that, they'll just charge you the same price they charge for the PS5 version for the PS4. So
I think that the pushing the PS4 upgrades was like a concession during COVID because of the chip shortage.
Right.
It's like people wanted to play the new games. They didn't have a PS5 and they're like, we'll throw you a bone until we get the PS5 thing sorted out. But now that it's sorted out, they're like, it's time to pony up. You've gotten enough for free. So buy the new flagship games. And I mean,
and we're seeing a lot less of, a lot less PS4 games. Like, there's plenty of games that just don't have PS4 versions anymore, and that's becoming the norm.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up because a lot of games are indie. Oops, my headphones busted.
Yeah, a lot of games could be like I'm super bummed that the new Castlevania collection limited running is putting out doesn't have a PS4 version. It's just PS5.
Yeah, me too.
Like I was saying, like a lot of indie games are like should be on the PS4, but they're going to the PS5 instead. And I'm like, man, this should be on the PS4.
I'm pretty sure that the PS4 can handle Castlevania DS.
yeah,
exactly, man. I'm hoping that limited run will do that version for us, man. But we'll see what happens.
Well, part of the problem,
they can't use the excuse of like it's hard to develop for the PS4. It's like practically exactly the same as the PS5, right?
Well, yeah, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard this, and it seems to make sense that when you make an indie game and you submit it for approval at Sony, right, to put on the network, whatever, you have to pay a fee for it, right? It's like $15,000 to get them to look at your game and see if it's reasonable to put up for download. It used to be when you did that, they would approve the PS4 and the PS5 version, but now they're separate.
Wow.
So like a small studio that is submitting to Microsoft is only, or to Sony is only going to submit for, the PS5 because they think they're going to sell more copies or something. So, if you're a small team of 2 people and you borrowed your money from your granny to make your dream game, you're not going to blow all that trying to submit it to Sony.
That shows why we're seeing a lot of these game ideas being like put on Steam, and it's better for them to do it that way, because companies, once you get to the console, they want money just to look at the game.
So I think Jeremiah had it correct. Once the PS5 Pro comes, they're going to end PS. But that's the timing I think they're looking for. I was like, once that release, they said that once the Slim came out, that was when they were going to start phasing out PS4, and I feel like that's kind of like what we've been talking about. It's just I've been seeing
100%.
less of them, and then like I think that's right. Once the Pro comes out, you're going to barely see them at all. Did you guys see that the limited rare games that just came out? That horror game Endemolon, or I don't know how to say whatever. That's their last PS4 release. They said they're not going to do anymore. That's the last PS4.
They're probably being forced. Yeah, they're probably being forced out, or just like it's just not lucrative for these companies to do PS4 because everybody's looking at PS5 now for stuff. Yeah.
But they also said they're shipping them up.
Nintendo have got those charges that Sony implement as well. Because we're seeing Limited Run do a lot more like Xbox One games these days, and everyone's printing Switch titles and things like that.
Yeah, well, it used to be, Xbox, if you wanted to have a physical version printed, you had to print 100,000 copies minimum, where Sony and Nintendo had a limit of 1,000, right? So you didn't see a lot of indie physicals coming out to Xbox, but 100,000 that back down.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah, I think it's like 5,000 copies now. So they caught on like 8 years too late.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, people were wondering why a lot of games weren't coming out on Xbox that when Limited Run came out, because Xbox would have a good market for a lot of those games. But
yeah, they had a minimum 100,000 print order when the Xbox One came out. On the 360, it was like 5,000 copies. You could put out have 5,000 copies printed, and that's why you had a bunch of indie strange stuff on the 360. But when the Xbox One came out, they're like, if it's not big budget AAA, we don't want it. 100,000 minimum order, cash up front. All these small indie developers are just like, we can't do it. Sorry.
I feel like the Xbox One was a curse for Microsoft because the whole TV thing and just the way that system
it was not a system for collectors at all.
No, man, it's just really bad. I mean, I understand they were trying to evolve, but they really shot themselves in the foot, especially with the big boost they had from the 360. I mean, the 360 was an amazing system besides the Red Ring of Death, and then they just could never get back on track like they did, man. Just people lost trust in them just for that presentation.
I bought the freaking, because I can't remember if the PS4 or the Xbox One came out first, but they were week back to back. One came out one week, came out the next. I swear, I think the Xbox One came out first. I played it like that whole week till the PS4 came out, and then I did not touch it again for a year. And I've lived in my house where I'm at right now going on 3 years. I've turned it on one time, and it was to play an Xbox 360 game.
Wow, dude.
Like, I just never play my Xbox One. I don't even have a Series S, so I didn't even get one.
The Kinect was really big back then. I remember they were saying, like, hey, if you have Netflix and it detects there's more people in the room, it'll charge you a little bit. They said something similar to that. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they'll detect how many people are in the room.
Yeah, pay-per-views and stuff like that.
They
wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
That's wild.
I came home.
I'm gonna hide away from the
picking
camera.
mine up, and
everyone's like dressed up as lamps and shit.
Oh yeah.
Fucking like I'm on a couch.
Xbox One. It was the first thing I ever did, and the audio was delayed from the video by like 2 seconds.
Oh wow!
And I was just nah, this isn't gonna work. Like I never trusted them. And then I put like a napkin over the front of the Kinect so the camera wouldn't be on because you had to have it on all the time. So
what's funny is that I actually got an Xbox One recently. My buddy Ron had like an extra one, and he hooked me up, and that's how I finally got an Xbox One system. But he had like 3 of them. So take one. I'm good. And like, wow, you never hear that with the PS4. Like, hey,
I know
PS4. No problem.
If you ever get a chance to get an Xbox One X, they're really good systems. Like they play games amazingly, better than the PS4 Pros.
Really?
Highly recommend. Yeah, when I was playing competitive PUBG, like that was the holy grail system. It ran the game better than anything else. It was the one to get. And I played other games, like I played Red Dead on it. That's absolutely beautiful. Didn't look as good on my PS4 Pro. I
Yeah.
guess I got something to mention this week. If you're a game developer or publisher, right, and you've pumped in $200-300 million into a game and you release it and it bombs, what do?
You go
The
out of
answer
business.
is you cancel the game, and then collectors all around the world will go crazy buying it because
Dude.
copies of Concord have gone through the roof this week.
Yeah, and
Everybody's looking for that moment of stadium events, like how a game gets recalled and everybody wants it. Now we have that a new game. What's it called? Concord or something like that?
Concord, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I called that. I made that as a joke, like either last episode or the episode before. I was like, you watch, Concord's going to be like Fortnite. No one's going to buy it. And then all of a sudden it's going to be super rare. And you were like, it'll never be like Fortnite. And then that shit got recalled. And I was like, oh, shit. It's worth hundreds now. But I don't know about you guys. Like, I knew this would happen the second I heard I saw the news saying they were pulling the game and they were canceling it. Like, my first instinct was like, I should go to the store and buy up every copy of that game. But I didn't. I was like, you know what? No, I'm just not going to. I don't want it in my collection. You guys can have it.
When I was at Walmart the other day, my buddy Ron, he asked them if they had any, because we were looking for the game on the shelf. And he asked the guy, said, yeah, we got it here. And then the guy was about to ring it up, and it ringed up as like, you can't sell the game or whatever like that.
Yeah,
so
not for sale. Yeah.
They had a bunch of them. It was crazy. But he got his through GameStop, so he was one of the lucky ones that ordered his. But yeah, man, it's just that. Do you guys think Sony should have pulled the game or just kept it out? I mean, was the online that bad? Like the community? Like I heard.
So,
Well, I think it was
wait.
the better decision to pull it and then rework on it and release it later.
No one's gonna
down the
care though
line.
in the future. Like when you pull a game like that, I feel like it's just, I don't know, like it just loses its like the game's evolved so much. People are just gonna move on from it by the time they probably get it working right, or maybe.
Well, the problem is, and no one's mentioned this. I thought about this earlier. When the reason why they had to drop it is because running the servers was like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. When you have 700 people max playing at any given time, you're just losing
there's no
money.
point.
Even if they postpone it, the servers are built. That equipment is there pulling electricity. So you're going to have to pay for rental and storage for a year while you revamp the game and then like spool it all back up. No. It's better to cut your losses. You would have spent another $50 million in the next 6 months trying to do that. And after the bad publicity of the initial launch, they never would have made it back. It was better just to like put it out of its misery, I think.
Wow.
I agree. And then like all of those live service games follow that roadmap that they have where they have to keep continually developing content for it. So they have to have a new hero come out every 6 months. They have to have a new map come out every X amount of times, a new game. Like that constantly is
Battle
like
Pass.
Yeah. And you have to do that for the people that are playing it. Like otherwise you're just going to lose even the 700 people that you're playing it. So what their option, like let's say that they kept the service up, they decided to pay for the service, but then they're like, we're not investing any more money in this. We're not going to make any more content. Well, that's not going to work in a live service game. All those people would have left. So it was like a no-win situation for them. So I do think that just shutting it down, cutting it, because they'll make more money as a tax write-off at this point than at trying to like do it. They will make more money off. It's like, you know how like Disney like took Willow off and how HBO took Westworld off, like get it out of here.
Yeah.
They make more money just writing it off than trying to actually make money off it as the product.
It's a $200 million loss. Like it's a $200 million
That's
loss.
wild. Joe, going back to what you were initially saying, from a collecting standpoint, I can't justify buying something like that. I don't want to put a game in my shelf that isn't
work.
playable, doesn't work. The only attraction behind it is that story. I'm not going for a full PS5 set. I don't fucking want broken games on my shelf.
Yeah.
I just want every game on my shelf, I want to be able to play it. Like when we're talking about games that aren't on the disc, I'm not trying to buy that stuff. I'm trying to buy the games that are on the disc that work.
Correct.
Concord ticks every single box that I don't want. I don't want it in my collection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, the last game I could think of that got recalled was Too Human on the Xbox 360. And that's playable offline. It was made by a developer, Silicon Knights. They had made Eternal Darkness and a bunch of other games that people loved. So it didn't hold any value. They pulled all the copies of it off the shelf and used copies and destroyed them. And yet you can still get it. Concord's from like an unknown developer and it doesn't work. It's purely a conversation piece, but maybe that's enough. Like maybe that's enough to add some value, but I don't think it's going to be like a stadium event by any stretch.
And how many copies would have there been out there prior to this week? There would have been tens of hundreds of thousands. It's not like it was a low pro game.
They shipped, I think they shipped 5 million copies, and they sold 27,000.
They're not destroying 5 million copies.
Well, they're gonna. The reason they're having them shipped back is they want to harvest the cases to use on other games. That's how dire it is.
And that's what I think this is. So like when you guys say, are they going to re-release it? I'm like, I don't think they're going to re-release it as Concord in any way. They'll strip it down and mine out the assets and make it into something else. So like, do you know how Overwatch actually was like a totally other game? Like it was called like Titan or something like that. They were making like, that was supposed to be an FPS MMORPG kind of like, wow, that's what Overwatch was supposed to be. And like, unlike Sony, Blizzard kind of saw the writing on the wall that the MMO genre wasn't going like the subscription model they were originally intending was like no longer viable or popular. Like you can't sell a subscription based game anymore. Like very few. I don't think you can. Like I just think that business model is not going to work. So they stripped it all down, took all the assets, and then turned it into Overwatch. That's how that became to be. And so so funny enough, I feel like Concord, which is just like a blatant, and that's honestly what I think is, a lot of people say the woke stuff, which is a huge problem for sure. Like the character designs, they were not appealing, but just the very idea that it was just a mediocre version of Overwatch. That's all it was. Like as soon as I saw it, I was just like, this just looks like a worse version of Overwatch. And like, why would I want to play that? And I've had this conversation with bands before. I've been in lots of bands and do music. They'll be like, I want to sound like this band. And I'm like, that's fine. But if all you end up being is like a worse version of that band, no one's going to want to listen to you. They're going to want to listen to that band. Yeah. If you sound like a crappy Led Zeppelin, exactly. If so, and it is possible, like as much as I hate to say it, Godsmack, that band was an Alice in Chains cover band. And they just wrote a few songs and they got popular. So it's possible to be a copycat and have success. It's possible. But 99% of the time it doesn't work out. And people just go, you're just like a crappier version of that other thing. Yeah. So why would I want it? Like, I'm not interested. It didn't offer anything new and exciting at all. It just looked like another one of those things. And it didn't even look as good as the other one. Like Overwatch looks cooler. It looks like it plays smoother. And it just looks better.
Well, Joe, plus the elephant in the room, Overwatch is free. They're competing with something that's fucking free. You can't compete with something that's free and charge. Unless you come out first.
Well, the thing with Concord is that it was greenlit 8 years ago. Like Overwatch was new. So they were jumping on the bandwagon at the right time, but it just took them 8 freaking years to like get the game out.
Yeah, and we mentioned this last week. Like when they did, Overwatch was actually a paid game then. Yeah. So like they were just 8 years too slow, and I'm sorry, it didn't work. Overwatch had 8 years of getting people's money from battle passes, and they were able to write off the costs of the game because they'd already made the money. And that's just, sorry.
Let me ask you guys this though: does this? I feel like with these type of games, man, I think having some kind of single player would have helped them out a lot. You know what I mean? Like that's why. That would protect these games from becoming a coffin. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some kind of single player, a little bit of dedication or whatever, like something to make, people able to have an experience offline. That helps these multiplayer games or whatever. But I feel like a lot of these guys, they bank on servers and being online and a big community, and it could end up being a disaster. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. You're right. So, well, one of the things
even Fortnite had a single player mode, and that's part of the reason it's so expensive is because that physical copy of Fortnite people don't buy that because it's got the Fortnite on it. They buy it because it's got this thing called Build the World on it, and that was the original single player mode. And if you want to play it today, you can only play it from that physical copy. So when people try and compare Concord to Fortnite, like it's missing all these things that make it expensive in the first place.
Yeah. Right. Well, a lot of the problem is that just the people in the boardroom, right? They don't know what gaming is. Like they're running a gaming company. They don't understand what it means to be a gamer. And in their mind, I think they think all games are the same. Like this guy's a gamer. He plays phone games. He plays all this. And they look at the data and they're like, well, this phone game or this live service game is really popular and profitable. So
Don't you
push
guys
that,
have
right?
phones? That's all I
Yeah. But the problem is that you got to treat gaming like you would like TV or a movie, right?
Mhm.
Just because there's 8 million people that tune into a Major League Baseball game, like the World Series, doesn't mean that every person that watches TV wants to watch the freaking World Series. But you have people like in a boardroom and they're like, guys, there's this new thing. It's really popular. Millions of people love it. It's making money hand over fist. We need to do that and put that on our network. And you end up with shit like MLB on Cartoon Network, and it doesn't make any sense. And that's what Concord is. Lives as a service game are like the video game version of sports, right? So
Mhm.
you're pushing sports, and you have a whole world of gamers out there that want to read a novel, right? We want like a concise story with development and interesting characters, and they're pushing like this active competition sort of stuff that it didn't work. Like Reggie said, you can mix it with a single player mode, right?
Mhm.
That'll really help. That'll grab two large demographics, but to just push one, and you're so blind to what people actually want, that's what's shocking to me.
Yeah.
That's what's shocking. Like, just go. They ran the beta and everybody hated it, and yet they just pushed it out anyway. They're like, well, hell, the ball's already rolling downhill. Let's just keep with it, right?
Wow. The problem is that they have that mindset. Well, we'll fix it as the game goes along. You know, like we're the testers, we're the beta testers. We'll fix it along the way, and that's not a good practice to have. To me, you want a good product to put out in the first place, and then if it needs like fixes, you do it along the way. You don't have us test it out for you and then do it. You know, that's what their idea was. That's why they think they pushed it out anyways, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think that you hit on a really good point too, RNG Gamer. And that's something that I've been arguing is that. So I feel like I don't like live service games. I mean, I defend this a lot for some reason. I just play devil's advocate, I feel like, but like I don't like them. I'm not a fan. I prefer all single player experiences. I like couch co-op games. I'm not really into the online stuff as much, but it's an inevitability almost. I feel like it's just part of the business model, and games are getting more expensive to develop, and companies are looking for more ways to make money. And this is how they're going to do it with microtransactions and extended services. It is what it is. So I think it's like what you said. They need to focus on both. There's no reason that you can't make a solid single player offline experience and then add an online element to your game that has microtransactions. And so like when I've been arguing, I'm still very upset about that. They canceled the Twisted Metal live service game thing that they were going to do. I'm very upset about that. I'm a huge stan. I'm obviously biased. I love Twisted Metal, so I wanted to see that come to market, and that didn't. And we got Concord instead, which just blows my mind because I guarantee you the Twisted Metal thing would have sold more copies than that. It may not have been the most popular thing, but in my so let's just say so Twisted Metal, if you like what that game is, it's like an arena fighting game that used to just be offline, and you would just you'd be in one car and you have to kill all the other cars, and you like last man standing wins. It was like the original, PUBG type experience. It really was like last man standing type gameplay, and it's like perfect for the online on service. It's just so all they had to do is make a regular Twisted Metal game the way we've always gotten them, fully available offline. You can play by yourself, do the arena, and have that whole experience. Like if you never ever want to play online in that game, you should be able to buy that game for $50-$60, play it the way you always have, and be done with it. But if you want to add more, throw the online service in there, throw the microtransactions, let yourself buy different skins for Sweet Tooth's car, let there be different honk noises on the horns, let there be special kills, put like special like super kill animations that you can buy, like put all that crap in there and make an online service for it too. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Make both. Satisfy both markets in one thing. And then how can you bitch? Who would be mad if I got a fully playable offline Twisted Metal game, same as the old games, never had to touch the online, and I could have a good time? I'm cool with that. If you want to play just online with your boys, blow people up all day, there you go. Do that too. Like there's no reason to have just one or the other. They're too focused on making just the one thing instead of making both.
Well, there is a
Joe,
reason.
considering there's a TV show of Twisted Metal out right now, like it's in pop culture, like
And it's good.
It's perfect to do it. It's not like it's 20 years old and no one knows what it is. No, even modern people are aware of Twisted Metal.
Well, the reason that it happens, the reason they don't do both is because you got to remember a company's only obligation is to its shareholders, right? They don't have to make a good product. They don't have to please the consumer. All they have to do is make a profit for their shareholders. And if the shareholders voted to put out a freaking a live service game that is proven to make record profits, if Sony decides to not do that and use resources to make a single player component to it, that's fraud. They can't do that. That's the reason Nintendo gets away with it. They're not a publicly traded company. They can do whatever the hell they want. They don't have any investors.
RNG's spot on here.
Yeah, they don't
It's
have
the
any
same as
investors.
this is same as reason why we don't get Bully 2 for Rockstar, because they don't make the decisions anymore.
Yeah,
they have
no.
shareholders make the decisions for them.
And you
And
know what
makes money? GTA 6
Or
online for
GTA 5
GTA.
online, right?
Yeah.
As long as they get their dividends every quarter, that's all that matters. And they're not going to vote to do anything new because they don't want to rock the boat.
It's nice and cold here in Australia.
It's sad to hear that, man. Like they can't be creative anymore, but the money talks, and that's just how it is. Wow. Because every time I hear Bully 2, man, I hope, but it's been almost 20 years now. You know, it's like, man, like really, like that hope is gone. I think the
At
last
this
hope for Bully
point-
2 was a little bit after Red Dead Redemption. That was the last hope.
Yeah, we would need Rockstar to sell the rights for Bully 2, which
The IP to somebody else, yeah.
I couldn't see them doing because they're that big of a company that they don't need to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I just hope at this point, I just want them to remaster Twisted Metal 1 and 2 and put that out like they did with Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Let's just do. Can we just do that then? If I'm not getting in my new Twisted Metal game, can we just get that?
What about 3 and 4, man?
yeah, what about
Yeah.
3 and 4? 1 and
Your
2
favorite
fucking
games.
sold well. Give us 3 and 4.
Well,
Give us
Twisted Metal
American
3 and 4.
Wasteland. Give us all the PS2 games remastered. Come on.
I like. All right, so have you guys played Twisted Metal? I mean, I played them all a lot. Twisted Metal
Yeah.
3 is garbage.
Yes. Yeah, it is, Gar. I'm sorry, Nick, if you're watching, man. Like his 3 was his favorite game.
Ugh,
But 3 is
I
like
hate 3. The only thing redeemable of 3 is it had Rob Zombie. It
Yeah.
had Dracula every 5 seconds.
and the guy that played Calypso too, his voice actor was back in it. But the 3 models for it, the cinematics horrible, endings were horrible. It just
the controls. It was made by a different company and it just was terrible. 4 was all right. I don't despise 4, although it's weird. It feels weird compared to the controls are weird compared to the other.
Was 4 on the PlayStation 1?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I don't remember. I never played that. I've kind of blocked it from my mind. I played 1, 2, and 3, and then Black was my next one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Black was the first PS2. And I think that one was online too for a minute.
It was.
Black
Yeah.
is 2 is my favorite. Black is my second favorite, and then
Well-
I like Small Brawl a lot too. A lot of people forget about that one. That
I
one's
think
fun
the
as well.
original creators came back because the last one they had made at the time was part 2. They came back and made like a Twisted Metal Head On, which is on the PSP and PS2.
That's a
and
good one.
true sequel to
Yeah.
part 2. That
Mhm.
I actually consider that Twisted Metal 3. And then they made that real dark one on the PS3. Oh my
That was
god,
okay.
dude.
Yeah, that was the last one I played.
I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
how you liked the PS3 version, because that was like the newest one we got, really, at this point.
Dude. It
I
was
liked it.
dark, man. I liked it, but it was like it's kind of too dark. I was like, whoa, dude. Like
Yeah, I
was-
remember the cutscenes. It made me feel like I was watching like a snuff film or something.
yeah.
It
Especially
made
the
me
first
feel
thing was
gross
too.
playing it. It's like Manhunt. I was like, ugh. I feel bad about me now.
Yeah, Manhunt was. Oh man, that game was something else. Whew, that was another topic, but yeah, I liked it, but it was like, man, it was just too dark. I would say for me, you know, especially like being older now, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
really?
I
Whoa.
played it like 4 or 5 hours or something, and then I had my fill of it.
Yeah, good to go.
It was it's one of those. I feel like the maps were too big.
Yeah, you were right. There's a lot of driving around with no action going on, like trying to find something. You never want that.
No, it should be a tight map. Like 2
Yeah.
is, like I said, 2 is perfection. If you play 2, those maps are the perfect. Everything about 2 is amazing. Yeah, I always gush over that. That's like one of those, like when people say, like, what's your comfort game? I always throw Twisted Metal 2 on when I don't know what else to play.
That's
I'm just
weird.
like shooting the shit. I'm just like, dude, I throw that on all the time. Just see
You
if
just
I
need
can.
someone, Joe.
I like vehicular manslaughter for comfort. That's fun.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I try to no death run it because I've beaten it so many times that that's the only thing that's, dude, it's so hard.
Yeah,
It
it's
so
hard.
is. Yeah, basically what happens is like you mess up once and then you have to run away for 20 minutes while you wait for health packs to respawn and just hide. And
That's a
it's not
film.
as fun as you think, but it's a good time. But
I got another topic to talk about if you don't
Sure.
mind. We had a blackout this week, and I was reading a book which happened to be like a history of the PlayStation 3. And like I knew this happened, but it just
That was
blew my mind
Sandeep's
how
book?
actually correct. Yeah, Sandeep's book. I highly recommend it. It was amazing.
yeah, you should watch
but
this
it-
episode. We did an episode with him about that book. If you guys go in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, he actually did 2, and I highly recommend. He's done multiple books. But going forward to 2007, right? If we ever think we're in a peak of gaming, 2007. Just hear me out. So Sony were behind in sales. Nintendo Wii was absolutely killing it. The 360 was absolutely killing it. This is the games that Sony announced at E3, not including games that run multiple systems. These were the Sony exclusives: Uncharted 1, Little Big Planet, Gran Turismo 5, Infamous, Metal Gear Solid 4, Wipeout HD, Pain, Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty, and Heavenly Sword. Like, oh my god, that is insane.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Heavenly Sword. I feel like it came out so much, like way before Uncharted 1 did, but I guess it was around the same time.
It possibly did,
Yeah.
but they were announced at the same
Yeah.
time.
Well, it didn't even have a trophy system in that game, so
It
that shows you how
didn't,
old it is. Yeah. But
I almost think
remember
of like
playing
Heavenly
that
Sword
game.
almost as a launch window game, and Uncharted was like years.
It was
later.
supposed to be, and it
Yeah.
got delayed, and I don't know how long it got delayed, but it was like maybe like a second launch type game, like maybe
Yeah.
like a year later. I can't remember. It's a while, but yeah.
That was
Good
a
times,
lineup.
good times.
That was a lineup.
And then, like the next year, they just kept pumping it out with games and games and games, and it just really got me thinking. Like these shows that we're seeing these days, we're not getting 10 new games announced like this. We're getting 5 remasters, a couple of indie titles, maybe one big AAA game.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that guy from Sony come out and say that one of their problems is they just don't have enough IP? Did you see that statement? They just don't have enough IP, guys. They don't have enough IP to make games. And I wanted to like put my head through my computer because I'm just like you just said, like, okay, how about a new Uncharted? How about a new Infamous? How about, I know that's not so, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, why we're not getting any of these titles that should be coming out, and it drives me.
What happened to Little Big Planet? It's like,
well, now it's Astrobots taking over, which
Astrobots.
that's a
and
positive.
rightly so.
We can talk. Yeah, Astrobot looks amazing. It's got a Metacritic score right now of 94, which is insane. It's like the highest game of the year, I think. So, like a lot of people say, it's game of the year contender. Also, I saw a test by that group Does It Play I was talking about on Twitter, and that they like to test games to see if it's on the disc. Whole games on the disc works. You can platinum the entire game without any updates or installs. So that's a complete game on the disc as well. That makes me very happy to hear.
Yeah.
while we're on that topic, the new Space Marine game isn't on the disc, which disappoints me.
Wait, it's
Space
not?
Marines 2. No, half of it is, half of it's not. Yeah.
Makes me so
So
mad.
I'm like, I was going to buy that. Now I'm like, I don't want it anymore.
That makes me so mad. Oh man. Games Workshop, get your stuff together.
That is disappointing. I mean, I could see that though, just because that does look like a massive game. But at the same time, don't be cheap. Put 2 discs in there, boys.
Yep.
I'm just, I don't know. So I don't buy anything like brand new, like pretty much ever. But like if it doesn't have a good physical release these days, I have no interest. Like everybody, Black Myth, Wukong, everyone's like, oh, it's the greatest thing. It's not even on my radar of purchase.
I want to play it so bad.
Me too, but in my mind, it's like it might as well be an indie game I've never heard of because it doesn't have a physical release. I just don't consider that like important. The only time I buy games like that are if it's like a little indie developer who I know it will never get released physically. Like I buy a lot of like $2 shmups and $3 shmups and stuff like that because I want to support the devs, and I know it ain't getting a physical, so I don't mind it in that situation. But when these giant AAA companies come out with games, and they sold 12 million copies in 2 days or whatever, I'm like, yeah, they don't need my money.
I'm hoping they pull a Larian Studios like they did with Baldur's Gate 3. They waited until everything was fixed and then they put out a physical. I'd rather wait a year and get that, like they did with Alan Wake 2, So maybe they'll do that with Black Myth of Wukong. Like
I'm still waiting for a restock. It's been 4 months and they haven't restocked the Australian copies yet. I keep making up bogus emails, signing up for it, thinking that if I do it like 500 times, I'll be like, 500 people have signed up. Let's put the copies out.
Man, really? I just messaged Larry and was like, will you send me a copy? And they're like, yep.
I might do that actually. So
yeah,
that'll be the go.
Yeah. I mean, I had to pay for it, but
I would say that Larian Studios at this moment is the gold standard for video game developers.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Their game released fully functional when it came out. It didn't require a bunch of patches. It wasn't broken. It worked. So right off the bat, that's a huge step up from, CD Projekt Red and all these other companies. It wasn't riddled with tons of microtransactions, as far as I know. They didn't have a season pass or anything like that. They just put all the content in. You had to buy the game once, and then there you go. And then once it was complete with all the updates and all the bug fixes and everything's good to go, then they finally did the physical release.
Yeah.
And they did it like it's an open pre-order. They said they're just going to keep making them as long as people still want them. There's no FOMO. There's no, you got to be online at midnight on Tuesday to buy the copies and the website crashes. None of that. They just go ahead and we'll order it and we'll send it to you. It's just everything about what they did is correct. Like, I don't see how they could have done it any better. As a consumer, as someone who complains about everything, I'm just like, I have no complaints. Thank you. I'm like, this is just perfect.
Well, that's what Remedy did with Alan Wake 2, and I agree. I think that's the way to do it.
I think the only thing, and I could be wrong, I'm not sure about that. I heard that Alan Wake 2 was missing one of the DLCs on the disc.
So
one of them, I've heard.
The DLC that's coming out, it's called The Lake. It drops the same day the physical release of that game happens. So unless it's embedded already in the disc of those,
I heard that one of the DLCs will not be on there. That's what I heard. That's not like a deal breaker to me, though. That's not like so bad I'm mad about it and I'm not going to buy it. And they also are including a digital copy of the first game, which I think is kind of cool too.
That's cool.
The PS5 copy of the first game is actually really expensive.
The DLC that they're dropping is actually the really cool one because it has the girl from that great game called Control. She has her own story because it's like 3 chapters in the DLC. The girl from Control, the waitress from the first Alan Wake, and somebody else I can't remember. But I feel like they could have put it all on disc. They have time to, but they were so in a rush to print those discs out that the DLC is probably not going to be on there. I mean, it's a possibility it will be on the disc, which I'm hoping, because I feel like if you're going to pay $80 for this game, they might as well put all that stuff on the disc that they have out. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes sense, but a lot of them just don't want to put in the effort to do that. But anyways, I did want to get into another topic real fast. How are you guys feeling about the PlayStation 5 Pro? Is that even
me personally? I've got no interest unless a game I really want to play, like GTA 6, can't run properly on the PS5. So that's the way I see it.
I feel the same way because it feels like there's nothing out for it that's gonna push it. I mean, I would like to see other games I have upgraded or whatever like that, 60 frames, 4K together, not just having to choose performance and 4K. That should have already been the standard now, but the Pro is allegedly going to do that, thankfully. But, I think they're really priming it up for GTA 6. Like, GTA 6 is really going to be the game that really utilizes the Pro properly. And I think they might have some kind of exclusive deal going on. We don't know yet because they haven't said too much, but, stuff is being leaked. And I don't know, man. I think they're gonna have to charge around probably like $700 for it. So I really feel like it's for the enthusiast, somebody who just wants the more power or whatever like that. If you already have a PS5, then it's probably not gonna you're probably good. Or if you don't have a PS5, maybe you'll spend that extra money to get one. But I think what will really sell it, and Joe, we talked about this probably for the last year or so, is if it has some kind of backwards compatibility with PS1, PS2, PS3, that would sell those things out the door, no problem.
That would do it.
Yes, 100%.
I just won't buy one till I have to. I never bought a PS4 Pro. I just rocked my original launch day PS4 all the way up to when the PS5 came out.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I'm like, it's fine. It works, you know. But you know, it backwards compatibility with like HDMI out for all that would, I'd be like capturing gameplay footage of freaking like you can, with the copyright protection on the PS3, you can't capture gameplay footage unless you have like some weird splitter.
Yeah, it's just this weird.
I've got it hooked up right now,
silly.
like over here. Yeah, like just not having to get that out would sell it for me. Like that would do it. That
stuff's so annoying too. Even if you have like everything you need, it still just doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah, it still
it's
just
like
doesn't
it
work
just
sometimes.
doesn't work. Yeah. I used to remember streaming my PS3 and have to like just shut it off and turn it on and try them over and over. It was just so annoying.
Yeah.
Real quick,
does the cords not work? Does the splitter not work? What's the part that's not working? Thanks, William. Appreciate
William
it.
for a $199 says $299. The rest is history.
The rest is history for PlayStation. Yeah, the PS2 killed it.
Yeah, dude, it was the best. And then also from Waffle Toffle.
Reggie, what you were saying, like I 100% agree. I want to elaborate on the GTA thing. Like if we go back to what I was talking about before about the PS3 launch, when what the Xbox 360 did that really killed the PS3 at the start is the Xbox 360 paid I think it was either $30 or $50 million to Rockstar for exclusivity of Grand Theft Auto 4 and the DLC for 2 years, exclusive on Xbox only. And the sales absolutely killed Sony. Sony, like I just read out that list of games, they were competing against GTA 4 and they were getting absolutely destroyed in console sales. To the point where Sony were like, what do we do here? What's going on? If Sony have done something with Rockstar and have gone, hey guys, we're going to make this new console and you can develop the game for that. And, you know, and Xbox can't compete. I'm sure that they've put billions of dollars as well. But like, that is seriously the one game that would do it for you. You know, it's a generational game.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm struggling with whether, you know, I normally just buy everything, but I'm struggling with the PS5 Pro. Like I don't, for PS4 Pro, like it made sense to me because it was like, it would do 4K supposedly. So there was an upgrade for that and the original one didn't. And for me, the biggest selling point was that it was better for VR games. And if you guys don't know, I'm really into PSVR 1. I really enjoyed that. So I was like, okay, some of the games were struggling on like my little PS4 Slim, like trying to play the VR on that thing didn't work so great. So it made sense for me to upgrade to that Pro. Like I had reasons to. I got a nice new TV. I had the PSVR. I got that. The PS5 Pro, nah, dude, I have no reason, like none whatsoever, to upgrade. Like it's not gonna. I mean, I don't know unless it does something amazing.
It has to be something amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
if it's just like, oh yeah, it's got a bigger hard drive and it's faster and it's got some more RAM. The load times are 0.076%, 2 seconds faster, boys. You know, I just it's not gonna justify for the cost.
Yeah,
so I can think of one game
like you said,
that I would be like, that would probably be worth playing on the PS5 Pro, and that's Final Fantasy 16, because some of those boss fights like make PS5s overkill, and it's like, all right, that game probably could use it. I can't think of another game right now that's on the market that is in that category.
It would have to be like exclusive to the PS5 Pro for me to do it. Like if it runs on the normal PS5, I don't care if it's chugging and the thing sounds like a jet engine. We're going to rock that bad boy till it dies.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think Reggie, like I said, if it has full backwards compatibility, or if they did something crazy, like made it really small, so it didn't take up half my flipping entertainment center.
Or it looked nice in general.
That would maybe push me over the edge, but it can't be more than like $600. I think 700. That's scary. That's like scary territory, right?
It is scary, and you know, I feel like this is Sony's 30th anniversary, so I feel like they should have something really special for us or whatever like that. But if they got nothing but a system with barely any upgrades and an expensive price, it's just kind of like, what is this? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like 30 years, Sony has been like in the video game market now, you know? Yeah. So I'm hoping that they have some banging news for us soon, because this news should have dropped probably months ago on the PS5 Pro. We should have known like more about it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do something that's going to impress, man. If not, I mean, it's just going to get looked over. You know, no one's going to really feel the need to get one.
I mean,
So I've got a question for all you guys as collectors. If they come out with a 30th anniversary, like the 25th anniversary, really nice, like make it like a PS1 model, PS5 Pro or something, would you guys be interested in buying it?
No, because too many scalpers, if they made them to where everybody could get them, but if they do it like limited type stuff, like nah, because too many like scalpers and all that stuff. I'm just, as long as my system, as long as my system plays games, I'm good. I don't care really how it looks, you know, even though the PS5 is kind of ugly to me. But the limited edition stuff is cool, but only if everybody has access to it. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing with the PS4 anniversary edition was annoying. I remember my buddy Gerald had to do this crazy trade to get one because they were sold out almost immediately or something. The server crashed or something like that. I can't remember exactly what happened, but luckily his friend got one and they did a big trade, and that's how he got his. But then after that, the Pro came out. So it's like, man, I would have rather have a limited edition.
Yeah. The Pro came out like right away. I remember.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like, come on, Sony. Like, you know, so they got to make it like widely available, I would say, to celebrate. Not limited because everybody's going to go crazy for it. And then people aren't going to get it. And that really wanted it, you know, see them being scalped online for quadruple the money that it originally was. And it's going to be out crazy. So hopefully they don't do that. I want them to do it to where they're really celebrating, not making it limited. You know what I mean? Because how much does it cost to change the color of the system to an anniversary? You know
to
what
them,
I mean?
nothing, honestly.
Nothing. So they could actually put them out in stores like for regular price. I mean, for sale for everybody.
Well, this
if anything, though, if I was to
upgrade,
well, yeah,
they don't even need to have the console packs. Like they could just do plates like they do with the Spider-Man and just throw 35 anniversary plates with controllers. They don't even need to do that crap. The problem they have now, though, is that if they want to do plates, they have the original model, the original disc model, the original digital model, the slim no disc, the Pro model, the Pro with no disc. They're going to have plates, 65 different plates now because they have 65 different models of this stupid console.
They're all different. Right.
Yeah, and
if I was to upgrade in the future, it would be like a game that I really like come out with a special edition console. But we're not seeing apart from the Spider-Man one, and is that it? Final Fantasy?
And Final Fantasy, we got plates. That's it.
So why aren't we getting like the PS4 had so many cool consoles? No. Even the PS3, like even the PS2 did, man. Why aren't they doing it anymore?
Especially with the plates, it's so easy. They don't have to do the whole thing. They could just make plates. I'm totally baffled. Like they're doing with controllers. They came out with the God of War controller, the Astrobot controller, the Concord controller, all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's a weird thing. Did you guys see the sketches too? Like they said that the original sketch looks like it's a digital only model, so it's going to be another one of those detachable disk drive situations, probably.
Lame.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a fact. I mean, this is just leaks, so who knows? None of this shit's official yet. But the leaked footage, it's just a digital model, and there's no, you know, so it's either going to be another detachable disk drive or a totally different system with a disk drive.
I can even live with the detachable disk drive. That might actually be easier to repair 20 years down the road. But what I can't handle is the fact that you have to be online to register it to make it work.
Yeah.
They have to know.
I just in my mind, I like envision myself when I'm like 70 and I go into some old store and I find like a freaking PS5 Pro with the disk drive and I like plug it in, it won't work because like I can't connect to the servers. That just drives me crazy. I just won't do it. It's
irritating because it's like, why do I have to register my disk drive? Like literally, legitimately. Like, why? Is it a security concern?
Exactly. Right.
Is it just like sales tracking? Like, why? I don't understand what good reason that you could possibly have that I shouldn't be able to just plug the damn thing in and just go, okay, you have a disk drive. Cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they're afraid like people will mod it and try to use like burned.
Yeah,
that no one can burn. Like, is there like a multi-layer Blu-ray burner that can burn PS5 discs? Like, does that technology exist, or is that like 100 years in the future?
I don't know. Either way, how many people would do that? Like, how much do you think they would lose? Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it'd be a lot. Yeah, Nintendo's freaks out about piracy stuff all the time too. So
they do.
But yeah. I'm not. So my overall feeling for the PS5 Pro is a big old meh. Big meh. Yeah. I'm not like, screw that shit. I'll never buy it. Maybe I will. We'll have to. I need more information. to make an informed buying decision. But like Reggie said, and like you said, if they come out and they say that, even if they just said it plays PS1 and PS2, and they couldn't figure out PS3 because PS3 is a huge bitch, which I know it is. If it just did PS1, PS2, PS4, PS5, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah,
I'd be totally thrilled. Just having the ability to play my PS2 games without having to put on my, because I have 3 PS3 Fats OG models, and I
only
use
3.
them. I have a backup, and so I have one, and then I got a backup in case it broke, and then I had another one that was just too good of a deal to pass up.
Oh man, me too.
it was like $100. I'm like, you're making me buy it. You're making me.
So I had 13 at one point. It was a problem.
I don't.
It's always good to have a backup of your favorite systems out there, just in case, especially the PS3 if that's your favorite system, because that's and the 360. Well, yeah, 360 because backwards compatibility is not 100% on the Xbox One for old.
Reggie, how's your test system holding up?
Which one? The PS2 or PS3? It's good. It's been good, man. They are built slightly different. Well, they're built better than the retail version of the PS3. Now there have been instances that I heard that ones have a yellow lighted on them, but nowadays with technology, I mean, people know how to fix them properly, like reflow them and all that good stuff. So that's a good thing about it. But it's worked great. That thing really does some crazy stuff, man. It will push older games to 1080p or try
awesome.
to.
Nice.
That's really cool.
The regular one does on 720p.
I know, right?
That's cool.
When I let Jason brawl the system years ago, man, he was gonna go. He went through it like crazy to kind of let people know what it was about. And when that video came out, man, like all the guys who wanted like the test system, like wanted multiple systems, they were mad about it. Like, hey, you shouldn't be talking about this because what they're really trying to say, I'm all for ourselves instead of we want anybody else to have them. Like, shut up. But but it's a great system if you're able to get your hand on one. I originally got the test system PS2. Was my first introduction to the test systems. I had no idea they existed. And one of my friends, he had got them like years ago. He had like 4 of them. And I remember he sold it to me for $100. And that was the first video I did with Jason on our pickups video together. I introduced that system. And that system really changed my life for gaming, man. I started finding out about games I didn't even know about in PAL that I could play on the system, region free, like Chaos Break, PS1 game though, and other games like what's that game called? I just forgot.
Miami Vice,
Beverly
Hills Cop.
Ugh, not that one. But I'm a big survival horror buff, so I was finding out about a lot of survival horror games. And Michigan Report was another one, a survival horror game that I didn't know about.
Michigan Report from Hell. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You can play Siren 2, Forbidden Siren 2.
Without any trouble, finally. And, I didn't have to have a converter to play those games, which was nice. And back then, they were still cheap. No one cared for this stuff. So I was getting this plethora of games on the cheap, except Michigan Report. I got that sealed, and I think I paid like $200 for it, the PAL version. But it was
it's over $1,000 today, so you've like 5 times. Yeah,
I even did a video breaking the seal on it too. It was a sealed copy, and I broke the seal. But yeah, I played. It's
actually past Rule of Rose now as the most expensive PAL. Well, it isn't because there are more expensive ones, but if you go on eBay, it's the most expensive.
Well, it kind of should be more expensive because the game wasn't. They didn't have permission to make the PAL version of the game. They just made it. And the developer was like, wow, really?
Fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah, they did it. So it shouldn't even actually exist, which is crazy. But it's a trippy game because you play as a cameraman and you're recording the reporters that are doing news reports. You got to make sure they stay safe from the monsters around. So it's a trip, man. It's a cool game. It's like if that movie The Fog was a game or something like that. That's how I feel Michigan Report was. But anyways, going back to the test systems, bro, they are awesome systems, and I think they would have really opened up a lot of people if a Sony didn't have the PS2 region locks. People would have been opened up to so many more games. Thankfully, the PS3 wasn't region locked, and most of the games with that system, or you could play play overseas imports, whatever like that. But the systems are doing great. And thankfully, my PS3 hasn't yellow lighted. I don't think it ever will, but
that's awesome.
It's actually every single game except for Persona 4 Arena is playable.
That's the one. It's weird because they didn't want anybody playing it, and it's like, dude, it took more effort to region lock it just to let.
And you want to laugh? I bought an American copy and put it in my console and couldn't play it. It is what it is. And I sold it on eBay, and the guy's
Really?
like, the game's not working. And I'm like,
Oh,
it's
man.
the only game that's region free. And he's like,
Like,
I've
run
heard
only
about
one.
this. I can't believe I bought
Dude.
Reggie, I wanted to touch on something you said before, talking about like your favorite consoles stacking up on multiple. Like I always thought in my head, you know, the backwards compatible PS3 is the one, plays PS1 to 3. But today, I play my PS3 games on a PS3 Super Slim, and my PS1 games on the PS3. But my PS2 games I play on a PS2. Because I don't want to play that on that system because they're so expensive, and I'm afraid that, you know, I'm gonna red ring it. I'll red blood a deficit.
It's kind of crazy because the way Sony built those systems, man, like having that hardware built in those systems kind of like I hate to say it was a bad idea, but if one part messes up, then the whole system's kind of like jacked up. So it is good today though. Now we have people that know how to fix these systems. So, you know, I feel like we're more protected than we were back when they were yellow lighting and red lighting on us, because Sony would just like, if you sent your system to them, they would send you back another system that probably wasn't even a backwards compatible system, which was crazy.
I'm not sure if people are aware, but like the reason we don't see this today is because they're so expensive. Like Sony were losing like $400 to $500 on every single original model PS3 that they came out with. It wasn't until the second model of PS3 without the PS2 backwards compatible that they were only losing like $200 a system. And that was when they started to, all right, we can make profit off our games now, and it's starting to become a feasible system. Because initially, the PS3 was like killing Sony. Like it was actually killing the company. It was doing so bad. The sales of games was fuck all, and the systems they were losing like $500 a system. It was
they thought that Blu-ray was going to really help sell that system, and people couldn't even tell the difference with Blu-ray over DVD. And then of course they didn't have the library. It just wasn't like the PS2 where you could kind of get people that weren't into games to buy that system. Like when I say that, kids were getting their parents to buy a PS2 because, hey, we'll have a DVD player in the system. What? Really? Okay, boom, sold. But the PS3, you know, $600 in the mid 2000s, you know, like.
And how much was the 360?
Why do I need a Blu-ray?
Hang on, Joe. You could buy a Wii and a 360 cheaper than a PS3 was in 2007.
Yeah,
just think about that. You could buy and then if you look at the lineup, that's Mario, Twilight Princess, Wii Kart. You get Halo, you get Gears of War, like.
Yeah,
you're competing against nothing. Cool, like Sony had absolutely nothing out at that point. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah, and then they decided to take a year off to like because they didn't think Microsoft was any competition. Oh, big mistake. Seriously, you think the PS2 era was that great, which it was great.
They
for
were
them,
mad arrogant.
They thought that they were very arrogant, man. Even I said this years ago. I was like, man, dude, what the heck? And then they made that system very difficult to work on for developers. So developers had to learn how to work on that system properly. When the Xbox 360 and the Wii, easy for the developers to work on the system, had instructions, but the PS3, no way. The creator of the PS3, I forgot his name, Ken something. I can't remember his last name. They ended up letting him go. He was like,
He got fired, and he was the one who started PlayStation.
Yeah, they said you got to get the hell out of here, man. Like Japan, they don't make. Even if you had success, if you mess up on one system, you're out of here pretty much. Like thing that happened.
And then if you fast forward 10 years later, the PS3 outsold the 360.
Finally, it caught up.
But it was like, crazy.
Yeah, it was like kind of way too late and everything like that. And you know, I wanted to go into this because you were talking about how Sony was losing money on those systems. The Nintendo is probably one of the only systems out there that profits on their systems. From
Nintendo Wii made $50 on every single Wii they sold.
Outstanding. That's the way it should be. I know Nintendo's doing their own thing by being, well, especially with the Wii, they were being gimmicky or whatever like that. And the GameCube didn't really like. I don't know if it pulled a lot of people, but by doing their own thing and not trying to really compete on a power level with Sony and Xbox, I mean, they really kind of found their way in the gaming market. Making a profit on your system is is awesome. Seriously, out the get-go.
I think GameCube's
not
biggest
to mention
mistake,
their titles were Nintendo titles, so they were making 100% profit on their games too.
Wow.
The GameCube's problem was the small discs that didn't hold the data.
Yeah, that was a horrible idea.
It's a really stupid idea because now there's just all these games that don't fit on your fucking discs, dude. Like that's dumb. There were no download codes and
no DVD compatibility. I mean, come on,
Correct.
Nintendo. I was hoping
Yeah.
for. I was like, man, I'll get a GameCube. We got DVD. Like, nope, DVD, nah. none of
But
that.
like the
But
GameCube
if you
looked
go back, it's hard to pick what's going to be the next technology. Like the 360's HD DVDs, that's not a thing anymore. You know, it's hard to pick what is going to be the new technology. Like you've got to be ahead of the game, you know?
Right.
You remember the GameCube at that time in Japan, the big thing, the cute thing, the end thing was things that were small and cute. That's what they were going through. It was like a stylistic choice. And
yeah, that was like
that sold them a lot of
Zoolander
copies.
when they had the little phones.
Yeah, they sold them a lot of copies, but it came back to bite them later. Like later
People
in the
walking around
generation
with
when bigger
GameCube
games
and
were coming
ads.
out.
I remember that.
Dude, I worked at Radio Shack like during that time period. I remember when we had like the tiny little flip phones that were like this big. That was like a thing. People like wanted the smallest phones possible. That was like a huge trend. So you're so right. And then now it's like, and then now everyone carries around tablets like this freaking big. It's so funny, dude, how things have changed.
It is. I wanted to ask RNG Gamer, man, how do you feel about GameStop Retro?
Oh man, let me tell you something. I live in Birmingham, Alabama.
Mhm.
And the very first city, the pilot city, when they started taking in retro games a few years ago, was Birmingham, Alabama. And it killed all retro game collecting here. Everybody traded in all their crap at GameStop.
Wow.
Guess what city is the only city in the country where they're not bringing the retro stores to?
Are you
Here.
serious?
They took all the retro stuff from here and shipped it out everywhere else. We don't have them.
That's
The closest one to me is 250 miles away.
Wow.
Worth it, dude. They
Wow.
might have a couple 360
It's
games
insane.
and
I
stuff.
literally, I was friends with a manager at my local GameStop, and I walked in and she was like, "Hey, I want to show you something." And she opened up a drawer and someone had traded in a bunch. It was loose, but it was Sega Saturn stuff. It was like
Mhm.
14 Sega Saturn games with some stuff. I was like, there's some
Mhm.
decent stuff here, man. There's some decent stuff here. And I was like, can I buy it? She's like, we ship it off to corporate. That was it.
Mhm.
That was in the story. It was just
heartbreaking.
gone. Just see it. See it. Yeah. But we only started getting like Xbox 360 and PS3 and Wii stuff back in our GameStops like a couple months ago.
That's crazy, man, because GameStop has been trying to kind of get back into the retro stuff, like on and off. You know, they've been doing it over like at least 4 or 5 times over the last 10 years. And I feel like, man, I feel like they're not deserving of it because of what they've done to like retro gaming. And me and Joe talked about this too, how they destroyed cases to make room, throwing stuff away, you know, and now all of a sudden they want to jump back in it like, hey, GameStop Retro, trade your games into us. And they're going to go through the same practices. We talked about how people could trade in repro games to them. I saw part of a video Camelot did talking about a trade-in he did where someone tried to bring in a bunch of Earthbounds and they were fake, you know, some were fake repros or whatever like that. But his manager still told him to take them in because they had to reach this threshold for trade-ins, and they meet that threshold. I guess great for the store, but then they're going to recycle that stuff back into the community. So if a game is retro games not being sold at the store, of course, you order it online or whatever like that. Can you imagine ordering an Earthbound, what they're going to charge for it, and then it's a fake game? It's not even the same game. You got to go through the hassle of returning it and all that stuff. It's just like, what the hell, you know? So I sorry, I didn't mean to get all crazy into it like that.
No. I watched your videos. I'm acutely familiar with it. I used to order stuff from GameStop online and they'd ship it to me, and half the time it comes in like a mock-up case or whatever.
Yeah.
I would take those back to GameStop and just be like, I'm returning them. I don't want the fake cases.
Mhm.
And the last few times I've done that, the people working there were like, we don't know how to return this. It's an online order. You'll have to ship it back. And I'm like, I'm sure as hell not going to do that.
Yeah.
You can forget
Another
about
hassle.
that. You can forget about that. But yeah, GameStop, I'm mixed with how I feel about GameStop. You're talking about them throwing all the cases away. I like the DS. My buddy worked at a GameStop, and I would go in there. I used to take all my Game Boy Advance games and everything and put them in DS cases and print covers for them. And I went in there and he would just give me like dozens and dozens and dozens of DS cases they were throwing away. And I ended up with like 4 of those large 40-gallon Rubbermaid containers full of DS cases.
What's up, Rob?
That I wasn't using anymore. I took them to the Southeast Game Exchange and exchanged them a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And a guy gave me over $1,000 worth of trade credit.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And I was like, they were just trashing it.
Mhm.
I hate that. And this same guy that worked at GameStop, you know what he used to do? When people traded in games, he would take the cases and make like replacement cases for all of them, and then he'd sell the cases, the real ones, on eBay.
Oh, I've got a question to ask. With this new system, are GameStop going to be throwing away all the cases and manuals and just selling
They
the
better
discs
not.
and cards? Like, is this going to be happening? Because it's just...
I think they know now that there's value.
What's that, Rob?
They're not going to
Yeah.
throw value away like they used
Right.
to.
Yeah, and they shouldn't, man. I mean, I feel like it's too late because everybody's picked up the slack of what GameStop lost over the years when it came to like retro games and how they treated like older games or whatever like that. A lot of people built stores from it. You know, they're successful stores. We have where I live at, I have like 4 or 5 retro stores to go to that are really successful. So instead of going to GameStop for retro games, so I don't really feel the desire to go there for that. And then one thing I was saying with the little stock, because I have a video coming out tomorrow, with the little stock they have, I feel like GameStop retro, any store is a retro store, they have a minimal amount of games that's really like going to get scooped up by the reseller. The reseller who wakes up every day to drives to all the GameStops. I'm like, oh my God, got to get all these deals. And they're going to resell those games. And a lot of the casuals won't even find that stuff. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's a lot of like resellers out there looking for it. And it's good for them, good for the reseller. But for the casual guy, you might as well just go to a regular store, another store that sells retro games that you know is going to have stuff in stock you can look at.
Yeah.
Well, the only way to prevent that is the pricing margins have to be 95% of eBay prices or Amazon prices. So there's no point for resellers to buy and make, you know, no one's making 5% on a game because you got to take fees and shipping into consideration. So that's the only way to get around that. And, you know, GameStop have to be on the ball because you can't just set a price for a game. Retro games change overnight.
Yeah.
You have to be on the ball.
You have to be on the ball, and they just don't. They're just corporate in a way. It's the way they do business. And then the employees, like I remember asking the employee, hey, you guys have any Super Nintendo or these type games? Like, what are Super Nintendo? Like, we don't carry that. Like, they don't even know that they're taking that stuff in, which is crazy. So, you know, they're not training their employees to know what stuff is. And it's just mind boggling. But in saying all this though, man, I don't want GameStop to go away or anything like that. I want them to stick around. They're the last gaming store chain that we really have this I say somewhat dedicated to games because now they got all that crappy merch in there and shirts and stuff like that. And I think they gave up cell phones for a while. Maybe cell phones they have that back. I don't know, but I want them to stay in the market. But I just wish they could go back to the old days where, you know, you were excited to go to GameStop. They were full of games. Like, yes, let's go game hunting. This is awesome. They have plenty of stuff to look at. This is great. Now it's like, it's just so minimal that, you know, like you're in the store and then you're out like 5 minutes later, you're like done with it, you know? So.
It's so bad. The last time I was in a GameStop, a fairly good GameStop that was like kind of out of town that actually had some stuff I was looking for. It was so tight in the store. I'm talking the physical space. And it's like, we have to have 5 racks of shirts. We have to have these racks of all this crap. I was holding my youngest daughter who's 2 and I was like looking at the PS5 games. And it was so tight in there and so hard to browse that she reached over my shoulder and grabbed a Minecraft mug off a shelf and threw it on the damn floor and broke it. It was $17, which I paid for. I paid for it. But a 2-year-old reached over, her arms this long, reached over and
grab how tight it was.
Like you just can't. Like I was trying to see the games on the lower shelf and I couldn't even bend down to see them without my butt like hitting the stuff behind me. And the crap behind me was like Funko Pops. And I was like, why? I just remember.
Why are they selling mugs? It's not a kitchen shop.
Like I get it. They're like, but it's the same sort of thing that I was talking about earlier with like corporate people being like, all gamers are the same. They're like, these people are nerds and nerds love nerd stuff. Like if you like video games, you like Marvel, you like board games, you like Dungeons and Dragons, you like Hello Kitty. Like it's all the same thing to them.
So all right. You just bullseye every one of those, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you just got it. You just got it. We got the perfect store. You know, these people, they love NCAA football. They love Hello Kitty. They love Dungeons and Dragons and they love freaking RGB keyboard.
Now let's combine them all into one game.
I'm like, no.
We wear helmets and we play Dungeons and Dragons as Hello Kitty.
Like it doesn't work that way, right?
And we'll name it Concord.
We'll name it
That's
But I like seeing. I mean, if they do like up their practice, like collecting games, making sure they don't throw stuff out from them. Because I see all you guys, you have your games behind you, they're uniform, and that's important for us to have a game collection. We want our stuff uniform. I don't like my stuff broken apart where it's like disc only or cart only. And if I do have stuff like that, which I do have stuff like that, I'll make my own case for it to make it look nice and uniform, which I'm totally fine with. So it's just that the magnitude of the stuff they threw away over the years and destroyed, man. If you guys knew, at least what I've seen, it's just like it's heartbreaking. And like, it's like, dude, like wow, really? Like, because I feel like there is a good amount of retro stuff still out there, of course. It's never gonna end, but just the amount that was destroyed is just heartbreaking to see. And I was like,
It is.
man.
And if you're in chat and you don't have any idea what we're talking about, after the podcast, go on YouTube and type in GameStop dumpster diving, and you'll be shocked at what people pull out of the bins.
Yeah.
It's games that you're like, I would love that in my collection, but no, GameStop have thrown it out.
Brother, they were throwing away kiosks before people got started wanting them, and everything.
All the
they would bust them out.
displays,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Everybody has GameStop horror stories. I have them. You have. We all have them. But
you know what?
The one universal thing about it that breeds ill will is that GameStop disrespects games. Just at any step, like they'll trash it, they'll oversell it, they'll open it up and put it on the shelf and sell it.
That's new.
45,000 fucking stickers on
They
the
just-
artwork. On the artwork of the games.
It just
On the
doesn't. The
disc.
games don't mean anything to them, and that's deep down inside, I think, what makes most people angry. Every issue has something to do with that. The one that I always loved was Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles came out on the Wii. It was a limited release, only for the people that pre-ordered it.
I
The
know
game
you're
shoots
going
up
with
to
this.
$200. They secretly have it reprinted.
Yep.
They open every copy, put it up like it's used for $200 in all their stores, and they're sitting on like 50,000 copies of it.
Yep. They got called out hard for that. I remember.
They got called out for that, but that was disrespectful to the game. They're opening the games, they're reprinting it, they're not telling anybody. Everything just boils down to that.
and to sell it for that price, dude. Like,
I know.
wow,
That's
really?
disgusting.
That's the first time I ever sold something that like a regular game for that price.
Yeah.
We're like, what is going on here? Like, yeah.
So I foresee GameStop. I've said this before too. Like, they're going to become the hot topic of the video game world, where you're going to go in and they're not going to have any games, and it's going to just be like it's going to be all the mugs, Mario T-shirts, Mario lamps, Mario side things, board games. It's going to be all video game related merch, but no games. It's going to be, that's what it is. It'll be video game culture stuff. That's where I foresee
It already
going.
is at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
agree with you.
pretty much. If you go in there, like they said, if you go in there, they have a bunch of used games all in their crappy cases. Half of the walls are just pre-orders. It's just pre-order this, pre-order that. There's not anything else. And then they have the small, tiny retro section now, where when I went, they didn't have nothing. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep checking it once a week.
Well, 5 years ago, GameStop had a great idea. They did something amazing, and I wish they had stuck with it. GameStop started developing and publishing their own games
Yes.
that you could only get in a GameStop.
Yep.
They made their store a destination. If you wanted to play this new game by Insomniac that, oh yeah, by the way, is a Metroidvania that's actually really good, you got to come get it here.
That's smart.
That was a great idea. They did the limited run game thing before. I mean, I was around the time limited run games was hitting its stride, really. They should have stuck with that. And I remember, I don't know why they abandoned that idea.
So the first game I remember they did that with was called the Song
Song of
a
the Deep.
Metroid-
That's the Insomniac game. Yeah.
No, that's the one you're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That game, I don't know how well it sold, but I remember they had a collector's edition, they had books for it, they had all kind of merch for that game in the store. But I think that it didn't hit the sales numbers they wanted, man. So they started giving up on it. And I don't think that was right, because it's a solid game, but they were expecting a big return from that. I mean, you can't just go off of one game. You have to have multiple games. They should have published multiple games in their store.
Did you
whatever.
guys,
They put out four.
What?
Put out
Do you
four
know?
games, and the other three are all like mobile games, basically. Like Deformers
See,
was one
people-
of them.
See, people
Yeah.
notice that type of stuff, man. You know,
Yeah.
like if your quality of game isn't good and you're publishing it, you know, people are not going to want this unless you make it super limited or something like that. Then you'll have the collectors going out for it or whatever like that. But they're not going to buy it for the game. They're going to buy it because it's collectible.
Did you guys see this limited
Dude,
steelbook that was a GameStop exclusive?
I want
This
that.
thing's fucking gorgeous, dude.
I wanted it so bad, dude, and I wasn't able to grab it. Dang it.
Yeah, so this was a GameStop pre-order exclusive for Visions of Mana, and it is really nice. Let me see if I can find a picture of the back of it too. Look at that.
Did you get
It's
one?
hot,
Joe?
dude. Nah, man, I didn't find out about it until it was already too late. And it's like going on eBay for like $75 to $100 something dollars already to
It
get a
does look
copy.
amazing.
But it is a really, really nice steelbook, dude. And so that, you know, that's the sort of stuff they need to be doing more. Like you said, they need
Exclusive stuff like
exclusives. Yeah, games that you can only get from them, pre-order bonuses, stuff like that. That's that'll keep you in the store.
Yeah, stores like Best Buy was doing that stuff all the time, especially with movies like a special Blu-ray edition, or steelbook or stuff like that.
Mhm.
They would need to do stuff like that, you know, to make it certain really exclusive stuff, not some exclusive stickers or something weak like that. You know, steelbook is really that'll get people's blood boiling. Like, yes, I want that. You know.
Well, what I think they should do, you guys know VGP, right? They have been reprinting games that are like hard to come out, right? Like,
some people were upset a little bit.
Yeah,
no, everybody loves that.
I love what they do.
Why doesn't GameStop reach out to these companies and be like, we want to do another print run of this game that has ballooned in price, and we want to do like a collector's edition of it or a steelbook edition of it? Why don't
They've
they
done it
do that?
secretly before. I know they've done it secretly, like had games reprinted, but they've never really openly come out like, hey, we're going to do a reprint at our store and add some new stuff to it. I mean, that would be a good idea. But they don't think like that because they're all corporate. Like, you know, it's weird.
But gamers love that upfront. Like, that's a marketing technique.
Yeah.
A reprint game at this price gets people buying it. And it works for Video Game Plus.
What GameStop used to be and what it isn't anymore was that it was a destination. It was the place you went to when you went to the mall. Like, I got to go in GameStop. I got to see what the new stuff is. They just got away from that. They need to turn it into a place that has something you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to do that, but I mean, can they though? At this point, I mean, they've really gone off the deep end with their business practices. It's like no one trusts them anymore.
I don't think they have any other option. They have
RNG. I want to bring up a point that probably stopped GameStop from doing this. And a big problem in the early 2000s is people used to go to the mall and they would drop their kids off at GameStop and pick them up 2 hours later.
That's true.
They wanted to be a hangout spot. They want you to spend money and get out.
This is part of the reason
arcade
why
machines in there.
Kiosks got pulled out of stores because they didn't want to be daycares, and that's what these stores were becoming. And this is a big problem. So
you know what?
The,
go ahead.
The nearest retro game store, mom and pop place near me, half of the store is retro game stuff. The other half of it is just like a bunch of TVs and computers and PS5s and stuff. And you can get dropped off there. You can pay $20 and you can play any game in the place all day for like $20.
That's smart. And to monetize it is what they should do.
It is packed all of the damn time with kids. Parents come there in the
20,
summer
40, 60,
drop their
80,
kids
100.
off. It's $20 to take care of your kid all day. They can sit there and play video games all flipping day.
That's cheaper than a daycare. That's
It's way cheaper than a daycare. Let me trust me. It's way cheaper.
Here's the thing I want to bring up too. When it comes the downfall,
is that illegal?
I'd only let them play Souls games, and I'll be crying when they go home. I
do that, man.
Go ever again.
Have a seating area where people can play games. Host Smash tournaments for store credit. Do something like to get.
I'm opening up a fast food shop next door.
Yeah. They do have a fast food shop.
I did want to bring this up too with GameStop. Just one more thing I want to bring up with them. I think their downfall kind of started when Game Crazy went out of business. I don't know if you had a Game Crazy where you were at. They were part of Hollywood Video. They were like pretty much only GameStop's only competition and everything like that. And when you have competition, you kind of stay ahead of each other. When there's no competition out there for you, you kind of start doing things your own way and just like, you know, we're in the same spot where at GameStop is right now. You know, when they bought EB Games, I thought that was a bad idea because I thought they should have been separate or whatever like that. Yep. But they start trying to like combine everything together. Now you only have to depend on one, and that's a horrible idea. You know, there should always be a competition. I mean, I don't even meet people think I'm all about Sony all the time. Like, no, I want Sony to have competition. I love Xbox and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because I want them to keep each other ahead, high.
Oh.
You know, if there's just one, it'll be horrible for all of us. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, kind of. Yeah, if you guys remember the Hollywood video shutting down the Game Crazy.
We had Game Crazy and Babbage's and Electronics Boutique and early GameStop and Game Exchange, and GameStop put all of them out of business.
Yeah.
I remember within like an interesting collecting story. I don't flip stuff. I just want to play games. But if something will fall into my lap, if I'm like at a yard sale and I'm like, oh, there's something here for $5, I'll trade it. Anyway, I was in a pawn shop, and I was, at the time you could trade into GameStop copies of PlayStation or of Grand Theft Auto 5 for like $30 on like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So I go in this pawn shop, and there's like 10 copies of GTA 5 for $8 a piece. And I'm like, well, I'll just buy them all and go to GameStop and trade them in. So I went up to the checkout, and the guy was like, why are you buying all of these? I was like, I'm going to go trade them in at GameStop. And he's like, do you want some more copies? And I was like, yeah. He goes, how many do you want? And I said, all you can give me. And he's like, well, I'll call the other branches, come back tomorrow.
Fucking pallet again.
He sold me like 300 copies of Grand Theft Auto. And I didn't realize at the time
so
you can only trade in one copy.
Two is the limit here.
Oh, yeah, they had that ban on you if you trade,
So every day I had to, for like a year, I had to drive to every GameStop in town and trade in one copy of Grand Theft Auto. But there were like 15 GameStops. I have one now. One GameStop of those 15 is left open. The one that my local GameStop, they shut it down last.
Because you put them all out of business.
I put them out of business.
I have a story that's similar to that, right? No, I got banned from my local EB Game Store from doing
That's
this.
the first thing I thought of, Figsy, when he was telling the story. I'm like, so you get banned.
Over here, right, we had a program like there's a membership levels, and it was 1 to 4. And every year they would announce like 1,000 or 2,000 level 5 members, and these members got a special trade-in bonuses. And every year, one day, there would be a level 5 day, and you got like 70% trade-in bonus. Anyway, I worked out the algorithm for what you get on, for the price you get on a game, how much you get trade-in. I worked out that whatever the pre-owned price was, they give you 1/3 of that for trade-in. So I went through their website and basically work out the price of every single game. I went to my local cash converters and bought like 100 PS4 games, 100 Xbox One games. Worked out that I'm buying this for, $15, they're going to give me $17. Buying this for $9, they're going to give me $27. I made like $4,000 profit in a weekend. Got a call from corporate saying, if you ever want to do business with us again, we'll require an ABN number. They couldn't like legally ban me, but they like business banned me.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
I like flag up on the system every time I go in there now. And yeah,
they had a picture of them at the register, like, do not sell games to this man.
Reseller.
Yeah, that was the only time I've ever done that. And I remember when they gave me the copies of GTA 5 from the pawn shop, they had like wrapped them in cellophane bricks like drugs. And I threw them all in the back seat of my car. And
met you in an alley
at
2 a.m.
pulled up next to me in like a truck and looked inside, it would have looked like I was like hauling around like bricks of heroin. I drove around like that crap for a year.
That's actually awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I should have done it your way. I just did it all at once, but I had to.
They wouldn't let me
was only for that day.
They wouldn't let me do it. They're like, you can do one PS3 copy and one Xbox 3 copy at a store per day. So.
Well, prior to this, I used to go to my other stores, and every single, like, whenever they would have specials on, I would buy every single game and then go to the 4 in my area. We could do 2 here. So I would buy up to 8 copies of a game because I could get rid of 8 copies of the game a day. And I would literally go, oh, Big W's having a sale. Let me go buy every single copy, make fucking $50 profit. And that's my activity for the day. Kept 3 or 4 games for myself and made a YouTube video out of it.
That's awesome.
You guys, ready for pickups?
Yeah, let's do it. Really ready.
We got 4 of us, about 30 minutes. I think that's about right.
Okay.
Who any preferences? Anybody who have like a small stack they want to go first?
I think I have a small one.
Small stack.
I mean, I got a small stack, but it's cool shit, so I don't want to go first.
Does it have to be all
I'll go
PlayStation?
first.
No, no, no,
Right,
no,
Reggie,
absolutely
you're
not.
All right, I'll be back. Hold on, give me a second.
No, get all you get.
Okay.
Get what you got to do.
Yeah, I'll show you guys. I'll go through these real quick. You know, hopefully I didn't show any last time. I wait till he gets back, but yeah, I want to go first this time. Dang it!
Let's go.
Get it over with.
Mhm.
But man, dude, got some pretty cool ones. I should probably work on doing another pickups video soon. Get the ball rolling on that. Everybody keeps asking me, when's the next pickups video coming up? It's like, dang, I just put one out.
Dude, are you serious?
I mean,
You
yeah,
just reply. You got to watch the podcast.
I feel
and
like
show
you've
'em
been-
every week.
Yeah,
You've been putting out
exactly.
freaking banger after banger and compilation videos and recommend and Metal Jesus videos. You're by the way, Reggie just put out a ranking video for all the Resident Evil games, which was
Oh my
awesome.
God.
I really
Dude,
enjoyed that.
I
How-
gave you at least 6 views on that.
Yeah,
I
dude.
tried to watch it the other night and I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I started the video over, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up and started the
Dude,
video.
that video
over.
turned out to be longer than I wanted it to be, so I made sure I added like B-roll in it to make it kind of cool.
Oh,
like,
dude, it
realistic
was
footage.
Nice.
so good. But
That was
like,
a good one.
oh man, I gotta stop watching YouTube and catching up at like 11 o'clock at night. I have
I was
over,
like,
I have
keep
over
doing it. It's good for
120.
you.
I have over 120 pickups stacked up over here that I need to film content
Okay,
for.
You
So
don't
I
have
just
to show
grabbed a
them all.
handful off the top.
We're gonna have a limit on this.
Okay,
I picked
You
1,
should
2, 3,
start
4, 5, like
You
10.
got 15 minutes tops.
first game I have here. I'll start it off. I think I showed it. I didn't show this one, but thanks. Shout out to Joe Rad, Signy, Blazing,
Nice.
Nice.
All
Blazing,
guns
all
blazing.
guns blazing. Excuse me.
I
Awesome
almost
shoot 'em up.
bought that the other day. I was so tempted to, but I'm just waiting.
Oh, you guys do. What I would have never knew about this game and had it in for Joe. Like Joe, thank you for like showing that game, man. I had no idea it existed. I went to Walmart yesterday randomly. While I was doing grocery shopping, decided to go to electronics part. They had a copy of Capcom Fighting Collection that's everybody's looking
Nice.
for.
That's good.
Saw that right, and it was on sale for $29, so it was
Hell
cheaper
yeah.
than retail.
I think it's got like 100 on eBay, right? People are selling it for like $100.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then we
pretty
have
sure.
I
I
finally
haven't
got
checked
Metroid.
today, so
I finally got Metroid Remastered.
Nice,
Looking
that's
for
good.
this for retail. They had it there. They had a bunch of copies. When I was at GameStop the other day, you know, for my video tomorrow, I decided to get this game there, and I was hoping it would have the gold case. It did not. Visions of Mana.
nice.
So
Nice. I want to pick it up at some point.
Yeah, that studio's like closed. The day
Yeah, they closed it,
announced
like-
the game
Yep.
coming out, it
Yeah, it
closed
came
because of
out.
the bad pre-sales. And I don't know if it has no Switch release. You know that?
it was. They made it like a AAA type, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be. I mean, they probably would have ported it. Find a way.
I feel like that was a big mistake.
Yeah, not having it on
because-
Switch, of course.
Yeah, the Mana series is a very Nintendo-y console.
Born on that system.
Yeah, that's that audience. I think that there are more Mana fans that are into like Nintendo Switch than PlayStation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I just feel like they lost out on like 50,000 copies of sales because they couldn't release that version.
Yeah, and that Mana collection only came out on the Switch.
The
So,
collection
like,
of Mana.
That's
yeah,
right,
you
it
can't,
did.
you can't continue it on the system.
I'm curious how the Trials of Mana that came out. I'm curious how many Switch copies sold because. Yeah, anyway.
Interesting.
I just that bums me out because it's like it could have just been like the difference between them not going out of business if they could have just released that version. That sucks.
Yeah.
Next game here, I had influence on this getting a physical release. I did a review on it, and I told Video Games New York Soft about it, and I found the people who created the game for them, so they combined, and now we have a physical release of Risk System. Cool shoot 'em up for the
Very
system. Man, I feel really proud about this, man, because it's like I said, if I didn't say anything like this, I don't think this game would have got a physical release. So
Dude, they
there's a lot
shipped
of-
my
Nice.
copy of that yesterday.
Really.
Yeah, I
Dude.
haven't gotten it yet though.
Yeah, it's a really fun shoot 'em up where you kind of like have to graze your enemy to kind of do like certain type of attacks that really help out. It's really fun, very risky, I would say, in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it's a
but,
Danmaku style.
exactly, you know, or
Yeah.
something like the other game I can't think of right now. Psychic or no, I can't remember.
It's like
Cyverior or
Cyverior, yeah.
Thank you. There
Yeah.
it is. All right,
with
so
the,
next
the
game here,
grazing system or whatever. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's one of those like
Black Site Area 51. This is one of the first person shooters I played on the PS3. I loved it, even though the controls aren't that great. I felt like some of the story was really good, and I had a good time with it, so I wanted to add it back to the collection. The thing with this game, they should have chose a better cover art for the game. Like the promotion art for this game was better than the cover art itself. Like it showed like this little girl looking at like a torn up city. That would have been a perfect cover for this game. But yeah, missed opportunity. This game came out. The game came out at the same time as Call of Duty 4, Warcraft 2. Oh,
I had timing for it. Like
time
it was
for
at
it.
the age where every single game was a shooter like that.
Lost Terminal from Pixel Heart. This is I haven't even opened this yet. This just came.
never heard of it.
But I got this game, new Game Boy game. So a lot of companies are going back to the retro systems, which is cool. I got The Last Blade for Neo Geo CD.
That's cool.
Not the AES one because that's expensive. But yeah.
Oh, I forgot to pull that up. Did you see the announcement for those new SNK collections, the Japanese collections that are
I
coming
saw
out?
them. Yeah, I saw them.
Dude, those
I
look
didn't.
fucking badass. There's 2 of them coming out, and they have it's like a bunch of SNK games.
And they mix up the games just enough to where you have to just buy. You want to buy both of them because like certain
Yep.
games are. Yeah, they got us with that one.
Yeah, I 100% buying both of them.
Don't laugh at me for this next game. I used to own this, and I just was really nostalgic for it. Gauntlet, The Seven Sorrows for PS2.
Nice.
Patrick Stewart does the narration for this game. This game had a lot of potential, but for some reason they cut corners, and it ended up being not what it could have been. But I like Midway. I like Midway as a company, and I think they put out high quality stuff. I like they use a renderware system. That was a good system for games. So yeah, got that one. What else do we have here? Some weird stuff here, but I'm almost done. Rocket Panda for the Genesis. Got this from Mega Cat Studios. Haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you too much about it. Same thing with a Sacred Line. There's that one. And oh man, stuff falling over here. Cassette Beast from Super Rare. No one's heard. This is weird stuff. So I know it's like, what the heck is this?
I've
stuff?
heard that one's a good game.
Yeah, somebody put in a video as a hidden gem. I was like, oh, good. So
Yeah, it's a popular indie game. It's super rare. Super rare is like you're either into that stuff or if you're not. Like either you like what you'd probably just like all their games if you don't like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And last 2 games, NES games, we have the Jester. I don't know how that's going to be, but he looks pretty crazy. Yeah, hopefully it looks like some kind of it looks like a Pac-Man type game. But yeah, and then the last game here. Oh my God, this is hilarious. But The Meeting with the meat. Yeah.
What?
I saw that. I thought about getting that.
Yeah, so
I saw a movie with that title. It was not what I thought it was.
and that is pretty much all my pickups. Yeah, I'm done.
Very nice.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I'll go second. Why not? All right, so the first thing I want to show off, because I forgot to show it off last week, and I had this last week, and I just didn't show it off, but I don't know, maybe I should have, but so I wasn't able to get a copy of Concord. I'm not going to be able to be a part of that history, but I did get the controller.
Oh, very cool.
And
Maybe you're too embarrassed to show it off last week.
Yeah, that's really what it was. I was like, I don't want anyone to know.
And then
I'll die on this
Press
hill.
for it.
That's a cool looking controller, dude. That
It's
to
cool.
me-
It's cool as hell, dude.
That
So-
looks like
Yeah.
Tron or something, like something from like it looks like Atari or something. Like it reminds me of like old school, like 70s.
Is that a part of the Edge controllers they're talking about, or
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's just a regular dual sense or whatever, but it's just the themed one.
But eBay, man, those things are going like crazy. Like, wow.
Are they not on the store anymore? Did they pull them off the PlayStation store? I don't know.
No, you can still buy them. I'm pretty sure, but they
people
go
are
like
reselling
crazy
them,
on
though.
eBay.
Yeah, they're like $85 or something on the store. But yeah, anyway, I grabbed it just because I wanted it for my controller collection, and I think it's cool. So I'm happy to have it. So this is the piece of Concord history I'd rather have, because I could at least use this freaking thing. If I wanted to, I could open it and play games with the damn thing.
Oh,
So it
the
has some
controller doesn't
actual
work anymore. We've
It
pulled
has
the
some
online
actual,
service for it.
yeah, that would probably be true. It's like it's got DRM. You know how you have to update them? It's like cannot update crappy Concord controller.
It's been
Like,
forced.
no.
You just wait. That'll be the future.
So I also picked up I got my copies of Risk System as well.
Nice.
So I order like every shmup. I'm obsessed with shmups, dude. Like I absolutely.
Digital
love it.
saying that they're out of stock
Well,
on the
they're
PlayStation
like a
Store.
lost art in a way. To get a physical release for them is a blessing, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I got 73, number 73. I don't know if you can see it in that little shiny
Nice.
thing. Not bad.
Let me see what
That's a
number
low
I got.
number, sub 100. But I got the Elite Edition. I don't know if you can see that. So it says Elite Edition. So that gives you like the shiny. See the shiny holographic cover? It's shiny. So it comes with that.
I think Reggie deserves number one, right?
Comes
getting the game
with,
physical.
You know what's worse? I got 914.
Send him an email. You deserve number one. You're the one who got it on the system.
That's because I ordered this shit like the day it was. I pre-ordered stuff real early, so and I hope that I get low numbers, and I never really do it. And I got some stickies. Got little stickies.
Nice.
And then it comes. The Elite Edition comes with the pin. There you go.
Okay.
Little pin.
Let's go.
I'll put it with all my other pins. I don't know about you guys, but I have a bag of crap where I just have this giant Ziploc bag full of stuff like this. And I
I got
always
a box full of crap. Yeah.
I always tell my girlfriend, like, if I ever die, I'm like, that bag of crap is worth more than everything else in this room. Because that's all of the extra stuff that came with all my pre-orders that most people don't have. So it's all the little art cards and all the little pins and all the little bonus coins and the pre-order this and that and all that. I'm like, this little bag has more value than everything in this room in 20 years, because this will be all the crap that nobody else has. So I got my copy of The Beggar, PS5 Horror Tales. This is the PAL version. This is the sequel to the Wine, Horror Tales, The Wine, if you've heard of it. Limited Run Games did eventually do an ESRB version of The Wine. So I do have a feeling at some point they'll probably do an ESRB version of this as well. But this is so cool. I don't even care. Look how badass this slip cover is, dude. It's
Is
all
that like
black.
dark black? Yeah.
Hell
that's cool.
yeah,
It's-
dude. It's all black. This is freaking heck yeah. I don't even care. I think sick, dude. It's like the Daymare Black Edition. I wanted that more than the American one because I'm like, that's so much cooler. Like sometimes the PAL copy or the Peggy copy is cooler. So yeah, it's a horror game. Tessera, it's a horror game. Looks cool. Happy to have it. I broke down and I got the PAL copy of Star Wars Enhanced Edition Tales from the Galaxy Edge PSVR game. The ESRB copy of this game, in my opinion, right now is the hardest PS5 game to find. I cannot find a copy of the ESRB anywhere for sale other than eBay, and people are like asking $200-$300 for this fucking game. Sorry to swear, but $200-$300 for this stupid game just because for the ESRB.
Awesome.
So I was like, screw that. I'm just getting this. It's $40. And normally I don't like to do that, but it doesn't have any like DLC as far as I know that I have to deal with. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to buy other regions if I have to play online with my friends or if there's a bunch of DLC, because then you need to have a European account to do all that. And as far as I know, this is just the disc and you can just play it. So I don't really care. So, if you're a collector and you're serious, you really want the ESRB copy. That's going to be the one that's most valuable for sure. But you never know. It also could get reprinted. It could get reprinted tomorrow and be available again for $40. But right now it's super expensive. This game looks freaking amazing. I am so stoked about this. It's called Graven. It's made by 3D Realms. It's like a first-person FPS game, kind of like an old boomer shooter, but It's like medieval fantasy like themes. So you have like magic and like swords and shit like that. It looks sick, dude. Like this game looks
my wish
so
list right
fun.
now.
What's that, dude?
I'm adding it to my wish list.
Dude, this game looks awesome, and it only got it didn't get a ESRB release as far as I know. I think it only got a PAL release and maybe Modern Hexen. That's a good way to put it. I might get a Japanese release, but either way, I ordered it from PlayAsia because they were the only ones that had the PS4 copy. So again, it's like getting harder and harder and harder to find PS4 versions of stuff. So anytime someone has the PS4 version, I usually go for that.
Did it come out on the PS5?
It did. So
Okay.
there's a PS5 and a PS4 version of this. I don't think there's a Switch copy. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, those are the only ones. And it looks dope. And it's like a boomer shooter. So what the hell do I need it to be on the PS5? I don't care. So this game, you'll respect this RNG Gamer. This game I bought for no other reason than everyone says it's like painfully difficult. It's supposed to be not a fun experience. It's supposed to be just awful, and that like rings my bell. Sometimes I'm like, oh really? Well, that sounds like something I'd like to torture myself. That sounds
Right.
really
Challenge
good.
accepted.
Correct. So this game's called Below.
Really? Okay. So I didn't know that was supposed to be very difficult.
So originally, when it came out, like it got really bad reviews because like no one could beat it. Like it was supposed to be like impossible. And I guess they have patched it and changed a few things that has made it mildly more possible, is from what I've been told. But at the same time, sometimes people say that, and no offense, they're just probably not that great. Like, I don't know. Like, I can beat shmups. I can beat games that are supposed to be too hard, and I can do it. Not like one try. Like, shit takes me forever. I have to practice for hundreds of hours sometimes, but I can do it. So I'm not too scared about it. Scared of these games. But yeah, I heard this is really hard. I got the PAL version because it's called the special edition. I just really liked the artwork. It does have an ESRB version too, but it's like it only came in like a deluxe edition and like a cardboard sleeve, I believe. So it's like a different thing. So
An interesting thing about Below is it was supposed to be an Xbox One launch title.
Really?
And it got delayed like 7 years.
And it came out on the PS4.
It's not necessarily he played it the hard way on Xbox when it was released.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it was brutal. I haven't played it yet, obviously, but I've heard it was, one of those games. But I like that stuff, so I'm down. So I've been super obsessed with old racing games. I've been talking about this for a few weeks now, and I've just been playing tons of different ones. And I've been following this guy named, I think he's Joshua Michael French, I believe his name is. Yeah, on Twitter, and he's a project lead over at East Asia Soft. And like, I don't know, I just love his Twitter, and he always posts cool games and talks about cool things. And he's a man of culture, let's say. He appreciates the fan service, which I do as well. So I know. Anyway, me and him were talking about racing games, and he recommended this one, and so I picked it up. So it's called SRS Street Racing Syndicate for the PS2. And it's basically like a Need for Speed clone or whatever, but it's made by Namco, and Namco were killing it on the PS2 era. That's Tekken Tag Tournament and all Tekken 4. Oh my God, Namco! I love Namco back then. Loved them so much. Anyway, so yeah, this game looks dope. If you like old street racing games, I love this era of games specifically, just because. The cars that are in these are just, dude, my childhood. Like, if you grew up watching Fast and the Furious, you like old Supras and old RSXs, and you like if you just into those old cars, man, it's got them all.
Another thing I want to add, PS2 era around here was the time where licensing was still affordable for these companies. So they had really cool music. They had like heaps of brands of cars in games. Like today, you get one brand, you get, a few songs. Like back then, it was fucking everything. It was cool.
And that's the other major thing I was going to say is the soundtracks are amazing to those games, dude.
It's got a Game Boy Advance version too.
Yes, it does.
All the systems back in the day.
Oh, dude, he put a picture of it. He has like the whole collection. He has like 8 copies of that game. He's got the Japanese, the Europeans, all that blah blah blah.
Oh man, I also added it to my wish list.
I want to get this guy.
Another one of my wish list too now.
Yeah.
I'm going to Portland end of this month, so yeah, this will be on.
He's just been hitting me right. See that? Like, I've just been so into PS2 racing games, and that's all he's been talking about is racing games lately. I'm like, dude, I don't know if we're on the same page right now, but keep this coming. Anyway, so the other one I got, which he didn't recommend this one. I just thought it looked cool. It was cheap too, so it's called LA Rush.
Dude, the PS2 version is kind of like it like halfway through a race, it'll load the rest of the race. Like it's
what? It's got load screens in the middle of the races.
It's so crazy. The Xbox version, I think, is better. It doesn't have that, but the PS2 one is kind of messed up, man. Yeah, I actually recently got it.
Whatever. It was like $10.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just like when you
Yeah.
don't think it's your system or anything or the disc. It's actually the game that's like loading.
Well, the truth of the matter is I'll probably emulate it. I'm not even going to probably play the disc. So, because my last pickup, which I've been quite obsessed with this thing lately, is like, God, I can't stop buying these little handhelds, man. I got like a problem. But I got the Anbernic RG Cube. I don't know if you've seen this thing.
Nice. That's cool.
So it's another one of those little retro handhelds, but this one specifically, it's got like a square screen. You see that? It's not like a big wide 16:9 screen. It's like it's not 4:3 either. It's like some weird, it's like 4:4 or 5:4 or something. It's got some weird ass ratio, but specifically, it's super dope for anything that was intended to be played 4:3. So it's great for Nintendo, Genesis, all the old games, even up to GameCube. It plays Dreamcast. It plays PS2 specifically. That's why I bought this. So the chipset's strong enough to play PS2 and Dream. So this is a handheld PS2. I put 2 terabytes of PS2 games on this thing.
Oh my God, 2 terabytes.
The memory card was more expensive than the handheld.
That's wild.
Dude. And I have just been, this thing is so freaking dope. Although I'm a little disappointed because it does struggle with some games. Like I was told this thing was going to handle all the PS2 games, no problem. That's a lie. It does not handle all like Twisted Metal Black plays like dog shit. That makes me very upset. So, but to be fair, also I'm using like the stock Anbernic setup on this thing, and that could be why. So I might just have to delete it all and reinstall like better emulators and set it up correctly with the correct settings, and it might actually work a lot better once I do that. I haven't done that yet because it took me days. And I mean days to extract all the files and transfer 2 terabytes worth of freaking PS2 games. Like it took me days. Literally, I had like a little, card, a USB stick that holds the card or whatever. When I took it out, it was like melting hot from transferring over the files. It was physically like hot. I was like, oh damn, I've never had a USB stick like be that hot coming out of a machine. It was crazy.
That can't be good.
No, dude. So maybe that's why the games are playing like shit. I probably melted the damn chip when I was doing it. I have no idea. But either way, dude, I love this thing. Super awesome.
How many games did you transfer over if that's 2 terabytes?
So for PS2 games, I had 687.
Okay.
And then it's not just that. I put GameCube, Dreamcast, PS1, Nintendo, and Sega Master System so far. I haven't put any Genesis or Super Nintendo or Sega.
Older the system though, the smaller they take up. And things
correct.
Like that, right?
Yeah. So I threw the NES and S Master System on there just because I'm like, it takes up no space. Might as well throw some stuff on there. Yeah, dude, these things are dope. And trust me, obviously, I love physical games. Don't get me wrong, but like Figsy says, like I don't like putting wear and tear on my nice PS3 fats to play my PS2 games that much. So I like this because I can play them this way. So yeah, those are my pickups.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah, go on.
I have a whole closet full of crap. I just grabbed one stack because I saw a game in here that I think I learned about from Reggie. So that was my onus for picking it. So I did also grab Signy All Guns Blazing. I buy every single shoot 'em up that gets a physical release that I know about. Too. Occasionally one will sneak through, but I did get this one. My copy of Risk System did not come in yet. I'm waiting on it.
Signy's a weird shmup.
Yeah, I'm.
It's tough, but once you get the upgrades, like what they want it to be hard in the beginning, but once you get the upgrades, it becomes like awesome, really good.
Yeah, it's very Euro shmuppy, and I'm fine with that. I want to try something different. That's okay. I've got plenty of shmups. I still need to one credit clear, so they'll keep me busy.
I think it's what I've told people is like if you're not hardcore into the genre, it's a really fun game to try out.
That's what they were going for, right?
If you're like a hardcore cave shmup enthusiast, it's a little weird because you have to purposely get hit sometimes in this game.
I am a hardcore cave.
I know. And it's like awkward to be like, well, I need to go across the screen to get the health power up. So I'm just going to go through these bullets. And I'm like, that just goes against every fiber of my training over the last 20 years. Like you don't want to ever get hit in that game. It's kind of like, it's It's worth it.
Yeah, that's
Take a
fine.
hit.
I'm,
Yeah, it's
I'm
weird.
ready for it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's still
my-
not, it's not easy though. It ain't easy. It's freaking tough.
So my video that came out this last Saturday was about like PS5 games that I think are going to be rare in the future. You know, you buy them now, that sort of clickbaity shit. So one of the recommendations that people gave was this Evil West.
It's a good one.
Getting hard to find.
The
I
PS4
grabbed
version,
this.
too.
Yeah,
So,
so pumped about that one. This is one that's kind of neat. I did find this at a GameStop. I like Metroidvanias. This is a Metroidvania that's all like biological plant based, and it's called Ultros.
It's a trip.
And it came in like a deluxe edition with like a bunch of.
It's like an acid trip.
Yeah, it looks
Really?
crazy with a bunch of like art cards and stuff in it, which
Yeah, I've
just
been meaning to
basically
get
look
that.
like
what's the
paint
retail
splatter.
for?
like $40.
$40, okay.
Yeah. I think I think I got it for $29.99. I think it was marked down.
All right.
So this one I wanted. I was really excited about this, but it did not get a Western release as of yet. But willitplay.org claims that there's actually enough English on the cart to where you can play it. And it's the Taito LD game collection. And this
Nice.
has Time Gal remaster,
What?
Battle Yamato remaster, and I'm trying to think of the other one, but they're
Dude.
all Laserdisc arcade games that are like,
That's what's cool about it. I had no idea that existed. That's cool.
yeah, it's like Dragon's Lair, and you can still get this on Play Asia. But very cool. This is the only release of these ever to home consoles, other than Time Gal, which I think maybe was one of those Sega Genesis Laserdisc only games.
Yeah.
So this is it, but it's playable in English. So
Right.
This is one that if you like that sort of stuff, you kind of have to grab.
I wonder if they have a mode in the games like Dragon's Lair did when it came out for the Wii, where you could just watch the game, just play all the way to the end without like correctly. Like
I
a movie
hope
in a
so.
way. That'd
I
be
hope
cool.
so.
Exactly.
That'd be really cool to actually, for the first time ever, actually get to see what happens at the end of it after
Yeah,
failing
those games
9
are
million
hard.
times.
Those games are so hard, man.
They
They're
are.
so hard. And speaking of
Dragon's Lair
games
makes
like
me
that,
think I'm like, no, I'm stupid or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
I know,
the
right?
button.
it's just like impossible QuickTime events with no
Yeah.
prompts. And
Yep.
speaking of which, I grabbed another one here on the Saturn. This is Brain Dead
That's a good one.
13. I haven't played this since I rented it on the 3DO as a kid. So
I want the PlayStation version. Yeah.
the PlayStation version of it actually is considered to be the best
Crappier
version of
one.
it.
Oh, it's the best one. Oh, good.
I've never seen a copy of it. I've walked around conventions for years looking for it. I have Retro Wolf 88. I have Mort from Mort's Garage. They're all looking for it for me. No
Well, I've
copies.
seen it. I'll keep an eye on. I'll let you know.
I grabbed
I've seen
this
it a couple
one.
times.
This is the one I think that Reggie turned me on to. This is a kind of a roguelite sort of driving game called Pacific Drive.
That's a fun one.
Nice.
And super glad to play this. This is one of the games I'm most looking forward to playing. I just think this looks so cool. I just love the
Mhm.
idea of it.
Is there an
I've
art
driven-
book inside it as well? It looks fake.
Well, mine's still sealed, but there is an art book inside of
okay.
it. Yep, it's stuck in there.
Oh, good.
You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my girlfriend loved that game. She put
Really?
like 60 hours into it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Because you
glad
get
to
like
hear that.
you can decorate your car.
Oh,
You
perfect.
can buy little knickknacks and little hangers.
That's
and
really cool.
Do stuff. It's just she loved that shit.
That's
And it's
awesome.
like it's big on inventory management. She likes games like that.
I like that too. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite parts of like survival horror is inventory management.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. That
And
sounds
there's-
fun.
it
Sounds
that-
lame as hell, but totally true.
She doesn't like games that are combat focused. And that
Okay.
game's not. It's like a survival game. It's like you
Yeah.
can die, but it's because like the environment is killing you. It's
Yeah.
not like monsters
that.
are killing you.
Maybe
Yeah,
I can get
and
my wife to
the
play. it.
graphics look gorgeous on that game too.
Oh,
So
man,
if you
can't
play it on a nice TV, dude, sometimes you're just like that's one of those games you just sit there and look around and you're like, wow.
Yeah. I got
This
a
just
nice
looks
TV.
cool.
I got an
Mm.
LG C1 over here that I paid
Oh, there
like
you go.
like
Perfect.
6,000 for.
I'll do
It was
it.
expensive.
4K.
I have not
OLED.
played Vampire Survivors, and I want a
Mhm.
physical copy of that to come out. But someone told
Mhm.
me this was kind of similar, but not as good. It's Brotato.
Game's super fun.
This came out
Love
from
that
Red
game.
Art Games.
Super fun game.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I picked this up finally. The Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
It's really good.
Metroidvania. I hear it's really hard. I kind of want
Mhm.
to stream it.
It's good. The
maybe
best
I'll just pick-
Ubisoft game that's come out in 5 years, in my opinion.
Well, that's good. Now, this game I wanted to get. I thought it was an exclusive from IM 8-bit, and they always want like $60 for their games. But apparently, it got a retail release, and it was on sale at Best Buy for $30. And it's Tunic.
That's a good one.
Nice.
And it's got the holofoil kind of slipcase on
nice.
it. I'm pumped. I hear this is actually hard. It looks like a kid's game.
Mm.
It's like an isometric Zelda. Sorry.
Yeah. My daughter really wants to play it. She's 10, and I'm trying to get her into stuff that isn't like freaking Minecraft. I'm hoping this is the game that does it.
Happy Console Gamer highly recommended that one.
Yeah,
he
I
says
know.
that. He says it's. I haven't played it. I own that copy too, but he says it's like old school Zelda vibe. Like if you like the original Zelda,
That's the game. That's what I
you'll like
want.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got 2 more. They're on a well-known console, something that we all played when we were kids and have fond memories of, the Panasonic 3DO. Here we have Hell, a cyberpunk thriller. This is a full motion like adventure style game. This only came out on the 3DO as a console game. It came out on the PC. It actually got really good reviews, and I think was Electronic Gaming Monthly's game of the month when it came out.
I
love that
remember
box.
drooling
That's
over.
great.
I used to get all the old PC magazines, and I never owned a PC. And I remember seeing the ads for that game.
It looks absolutely bonkers. I can't wait to get stuck in the first 15 minutes of the game. I'm looking forward to that. One of the heavy hitters on the 3DO is a first-person shooter. It's exclusive to the 3DO. It goes for about $350. And I found a deal on eBay, and I got it. The guy said it wasn't complete because it was missing the manual. Well, the manual is inside the jewel case. There's also a registration card. He said it was missing. It was in the box. So $350. I made him an offer of $100, and he took it.
There you go.
But it's killing time.
Oh, nice. That's one of the few games I've heard of.
Pretty cool. Well, it's supposed to be a pretty cool first-person shooter. The first-person shooters run pretty decent on the 3DO, despite the fact that it has one of the worst controllers ever conceived. But yeah, I'm happy to finally have this one. I've been looking for it for a long time, and I think that's about it, man. I've got, like I said, I could go for 5 or 6 hours with pickups. Those
cool,
look
though.
good, and so I thought they would be suitable for the podcast.
Heck yeah, very rad stuff, dude. You don't see a lot.
I haven't got 5
stuff.
or 6 hours, but I've got some cool stuff to show off. First was a PS4 game that was on my list for a long time. I was just one night going through my PS4 list on eBay and looking up prices, and this one was cheap, and I sent a sneaky offer, and they accepted it. So that was Labyrinth of Refrain, Dusk of Cover.
I still need to pick that up. I have the other one.
It does come with a 1-page manual. I'm not going to show that off.
Yeah, there's another one.
Like,
of
it
those
feels
called-
like it's got some weight to it.
That's like a first-person dungeon crawler, which I'm trying to get all of those. And that one's
It looks
got
pretty cool.
I think there's another one. There's another one called Labyrinth of Galeria, and I don't know if that's one of the. They're like the same 2 games.
This is interesting. It's got an R rated because it's got sexual activity related to incentivize and rewards. So
Yes, and I believe that is based out of the Disgaea world.
Okay, that makes sense.
Game.
Well, the advertising Disgaea on the inside, so that makes sense. And it's NIS America.
Yeah, I would pick those up. I do believe that genre is one of those, like, you know, horror games are usually expensive and shmups end up expensive. First person dungeon crawlers, in my opinion, tend to end up expensive because they're
compared to Disgaea,
they're
like
very
a very low
niche.
print run.
Yeah.
And that's I got it for $35 and it's usually $60, so I'm pretty stoked with that.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next series, and this is all the same. And as you guys may or may not know, I'm working on all the Pokemon games right now, and that includes all the spin-off titles as well. So I've got a few more here. Here we have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. Actually, I'll grab something because this has got a really cool cover. I'll be 1 second.
Good God, he slammed his headphones down hard. It sounded like a bomb going off.
It's like a magnetic door on that glass case. So this got released the same time as Red Rescue Team on the Game Boy Advance, and the covers actually match each other. So they're looking down the hole in this cover, and they're looking up the hole in this cover.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
cool, right?
That is cool.
I
like
love
stuff
when
like that.
covers do that, and it's across two different systems. Like that's cool, right?
That is cool.
And then from the same seller, Bits and Bullets. So not this game, but the last game you'll see is the most expensive game I've ever bought. But I also picked up from the same seller Pokemon trading card game, and this box is in perfect condition. And he sold it to me cheap because it didn't have a manual. Thankfully, there was a manual on eBay, and I sent an offer on it and got that manual cheap. So I ended up completing the copy apart from the card. And the card's like a $30 card. There's like 100 of them on eBay, so I'll buy it at some point. But the last game actually completes a set, and that is every mainline Pokemon game. This is the last one I needed, and it's the most expensive game I've ever bought. I bit a bullet, and that is for Pokemon Emerald. And it's like a minty copy. Nicer than any of the ones that were available online. I'm really happy with this. I bought it for a private collector. A perfect condition.
Those
It's
are
going to
clean.
stay in this little box.
Dude, I sold the manual for that game for like $50. Just the
Yeah.
manual.
It's
That's
complete,
expensive.
perfect condition. I'll have it. I actually want to play it too. Emerald's renowned as like the best Pokemon game.
Really?
I posted a photo on Twitter and Instagram of like every single one. It's like
Dude,
my
just-
childhood. I finally completed the set, so
Yeah, one
it
of
feels
these-
awesome.
Dude, that's one.
That's how I should play it. Yeah.
So this, you know how this has that weird aspect ratio screen or whatever? It's
Perfect.
it's real. It's
Game
perfect
Boy.
for DS and 3DS, believe it or not, because it does the two screens and splits them up like really nicely.
Oh yeah, nice.
And it's also really good for MAME games because it you can do like the long aspect where you can do like 7:3 or 7:9 or whatever the hell. I don't even know what it is. You can
Tate.
do Tate. No, Team Mode. This is what you're supposed to say.
Well, I
literally
finished the Pokemon games, but I have some subset ones left. So I'm not like super excited to go and buy Pokemon typing and pinball and things like that. So I'm sort of just going to chill for a bit. I think we're going to work on PS2 next. There's a bunch of not expensive games, but like I like completing sets. So like finishing all the Ratchet and Clank games and all the Jack and Daxter and all the Resident Evils and different things like that. So I think that'll be the next goal for the collection. Should be fun.
That's funny. I'm glad you
also
picked up
got-
Emerald in the box. I was a guest
Oh,
at
Joe's
Southeast
got a
Game
pick up for me.
Exchange, and a guy kept Tokyo
This
Xanadu.
is also Figsy's. He just ordered it.
Sorry, that got a PAL release. That copy there was like $30. The PAL version of that is a $500 game. It
Oh my
only got a UK release. It's like the most expensive game. I've been after it for years, but I'm like at this point, I don't even want to pay $100, and you can get the American version for $25. So
Yeah.
get that, and hopefully, we're just waiting on one more game. I think, Joe.
Yes, you said you ordered
yeah.
another one.
It was like a Japanese game that I'm waiting for, and then get it shipped over.
Yeah, and no, what's funny too, that Tokyo Xanadu game, I believe it just got another release on the Switch. And I think that's actually like a more complete version or something like that. So that Tokyo Xanadu, it's on VGP, I think.
It's meant to be a really good game, so I
Yeah.
only heard like great things about
No,
it.
it's awesome. So yeah, it's made by Falcom. So if you like Ease games, it's like very similar. Like the action is very much like an Ease game. If you like that, not identical, but yeah. If you're looking for like an Ease spinoff or something, I would recommend that one. All right, that was amazing. Great pickups, guys. We're actually almost on time. This is amazing. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Reggie, he's got a new video. Ranks all the
Well-
Resident Evils. Got to go check it out. What else you got coming out?
I got one more GameStop retro video coming out tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be the
Mm-hmm.
last one I do, but just some cool information, kind of the stuff we talked about today in that video.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. But yeah, that's what I got on my channel going.
Cool. So yeah, if you guys aren't already subbed to Reggie, down below, go check him out on X, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Figsy, you making any new videos?
I do have a game room tour planned with 4 rooms. I haven't done it yet because I've been just grinding GeoGuessr every day. I've been streaming like 3 or 4 times a week. So if you want to see some of that, it's over on Twitch. But I do have content planned out. I just need to get it done. You know what it's like. And before you make a video, you got to clean the rooms. You got to make them look nice. You got to get games set up, playing on the TVs, and I got a fireplace. I got to get the fireplace running. And
you got to get rid of all your waifu body pillows.
We just had a crazy storm, so the shed, I want to film that too, and the shed's all like being blown out with leaves, so I have to like re-clean it all. But it'll come. It'll be a pretty. Like, I'm looking forward to this because my last game room tour was like 4 years ago, and it's tenfold what it used to be, so it'll be a really exciting video.
Nice. And you're getting pretty close to 5K subs, is that right?
Yeah, I think we're at 4,500 and something, so maybe we can hit 5K before the end of the year. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, if you guys want to help him out, man's getting close to 5K. Go down and sub to Figsy down in the thingies. Mr. RNG Gamer.
Hey,
what you got coming up? This guy got video coming all the time, so
my new videos come out every single Saturday morning.
Saturday morning,
9:00 Eastern Standard Time. This upcoming one is going to be a combination game hunting / pickups video. I've been doing like mixed videos where I got game hunting, and as I fail miserably as I usually do, I throw it back to myself in the studio where I talk about actual cool stuff I picked up. So It should be a pretty good video. I hope it does well. Cool. I'm right at like 12,000 subscribers.
No, that's getting close.
Just past my 2nd year on YouTube. So I'm
very cool.
Hoping to hit 20 by the end of the year. And
that's awesome. What night do you do your live streams? Do you do that?
Oh yeah, I do live streams every Tuesday night. Right here on YouTube. On YouTube.
That's right.
No Twitch for me. It's too hard. Just YouTube.
Old school. That's right.
We talk about that for a while. Yeah. I don't like Twitch. We stream on Twitch, but it's like nobody. It's like a dead. To me, Twitch is dead. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Fine. The problem to like be a Twitch partner, you have to stream at least 3 days a week.
Yeah, it's like, dude, really?
I have
Twitch don't like
jobs. I can't.
Audience on Twitch don't like you playing multiple games too. So for you, for example, playing different games, it's just it's hard to attract that audience. When I play one game on Twitch, and the same people come back and they want to watch that one game. If I played something else, they wouldn't watch.
Yeah, my sole purpose of live streaming is just to interact with the audience. So it's like 80% of me just talking to chat. So
that's fun.
YouTube's the perfect place to do that because that's where all the people are.
Well, definitely go check him out on YouTube and give him a sub, guys. He puts out great content. I really do enjoy it. I just do this show, and then I've been streaming randomly. I've been playing Quake 2 because I don't know why. I've been obsessed with Quake 2. I've like played Quake 2, Quake 64, all the expansions. I think I got one little DLC pack left to stream. And then after that, I don't even know what I'm going to stream. Maybe Core Keeper. Have you guys heard of Core Keeper? That new game looks freaking dope. You would like it, Figsy. It's like Terraria, Stardew, and management. Yeah, dude, you would love it. But it's got really cool combat. So anyway, I might try something like that. But yeah, if you guys want to sub to me, I do that as well and come hang out and watch me play games.
Joe, we need to make like a promise that you'll drop a game room tour at like a certain amount of subs.
Well, I told everybody if I got to 1,000 subs, I'd start selling my bathwater, but nobody subbed. I don't know why.
I made 50 accounts just for that.
I know. Well, I told you I'd send you stuff for free. So I'll try this. How about this? 1,000 subs. I'll post feet pics.
Oh my God.
Come on, boys. Come on.
I can't wait.
I know you want it. No, but see, I say these jokes, but then if I actually got 1,000 subs, I'd be horrified. I'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to put feet pics up."
That's just one dude with 900 accounts. Where are they, Joe? You promised me.
Hey, you know what? That's fine. If the guy super chats hundreds of dollars, I'll send him some feet pics. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, dude, come on, don't unsub. Come on. I can't go down. I only got like 150. I got 120 subs. Come on. We're shooting for 200. All right. Anyway, it was a great show, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed it. RNG Gamer, thanks very much for coming on. Reggie, pleasure as always. Figsy, pleasure as always. I hope everybody in the audience had a good time. And next week we'll be back same time, same place. I think we're gonna have. I believe it's Preferred Dimensions is coming back, Jeremy. So that should be a good show. And yeah, hope you guys see you there. And have a great rest of your night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Later, everybody.
You